Sorry. Gotta stretch more. Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right. Think we're good. Think we're good. I think we're alert. We're barely awake. Ooh, I'm pissed. Okay, I'm not really pissed, but I'm as upset as one could be. You know, for someone like me. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. What is up, everyone? This is Coffee with Soul. I'm your host. We're gonna chat. We're going to talk. We're going to give them one more chance. Give it to me. Give it to me. Nope, not there. We are gonna cover what we can about the world and story panel that happened about 4.5 hours ago. We still have yet to see a VOD of the stream. It in fact was not live streamed as I was hoping, because my ass got up around like 3:50 in the morning. I'm like, all right, let me go over to the thing. Let me go over to the stream and find it, and then record it. You know, start the recording, and then just go back to bed. That was the plan, right? That was the plan. So I get up, come over, expect to see the stream about to start, you know, like the warm-up stream and all that. Cool, let's go. I don't see it. I'm like, okay, cool. Where do I go? So I'm like double checking the Gamescom thing, which is not a thing. You know, Gamescom, this isn't a Gamescom stream. This is a, you know, this is just like a WoW kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's on their Twitch, you know, and instead they were doing like I think it was a rebroadcast of the housing showcase, which was done just fine. That was done, you know, great. It worked out exactly the way that I was hoping it would. This one did not. Oh man, this one did not. And so, you know, it's not just me, but there are other folks who are probably, you know, less diplomatic than me about their dissatisfaction about how the reveal has gone so far. And it sucks because at first we had saw announcements that, hey, after the Gamescom thing, you know, after the opening night live stuff, they were going to do like some sort of stream or a WoWcast or something like that with Holy Longdale, you know, Costas, Chris Metzen. They were going to do a thing, and then something happened and it changed. You know, it changed into this wider format of, you know, spreading these announcements and reveals and whatnot across a few panels and fireside dev chats with creators and what have you. So it was kind of late change, and I can't begin to really wonder like what it is that caused the change. It could have been Gamescom coming down and being like, oh, you can do this but you can't do this. It could have been Metzen being like, you know, I'm sick, you know, I gotta wash my cat, can't do it, do something else. Now, I can still be super excited about Midnight. I'm fucking excited about Midnight, but I can still be pissed about like the way that they're executing on the reveal stuff. So for me, it's something that I can just get over. You know, this is it's a nuisance. It's like but you know, I'll get over it. Let's F5 one more time. Nope. Was hoping against hope there. So I hope everyone's doing well. Otherwise, hope everyone's having a good day. I hope your loots have been merry so far. I'm gonna try and see how stable the remix is. Last I checked, it was not very stable, so I'm gonna see how things are going, and then I'll like just, you know, do stuff, answer questions about it in case people are interested, and try to level up and get through, not level up, but go through like the whole power fantasy, because I'm trying to work on that. You know, I'm trying to get stronger and stronger, but it's not. So far, I'm not quite feeling it. Probably because it's only the second build of this PTR, but also we don't, or at least I haven't quite grasped how the whole power fantasy climb is going to feel. Or maybe this character's bugged and it's not working right or something like that, because I'm pretty sure it's not, because there's some quests that I don't have access to anymore. I'm like, oh no. So there are things that are missing, but what I'm trying to get are like impressions that I can speak to it, because there's less than a week left of the early preview, and I do have a lot of other impressions about how the powering up and everything is working out, and so I can start speaking to that, but I don't have all the information. Like I'm only able to like really speak to as much as my experience has allowed for, but it's not enough. So let me read chat and say hi to people. That's always fun. What's up to Mainly Delicious? You're the first person to say hi. Appreciate it. You get a point. Doesn't mean anything, but it's okay. What's up to Adversus? To Chillwave Magic, to David and Arcadius and Chris and Darth, to Peter and Evan Norton. What's up to Moo Happy and Puddle Jumper? Hi to Mary, One Under, Lee Taylor, Valandria. What's up to Yay Son? What's up to Morphexia and Boomer and Aaron Mortar, to Dizzy Treasures, to Pinch E Needle? Did I read that right? Pinchy Heedle. Pinchy Eddie. You know what? I killed it. Sorry. I totally destroyed your name. I'm sorry about that. Also, what's up to Zarase, to Portube, Lord Lube? I'll go with Lube. Yeah, that sounds good. Hi to Scythus and Dylan and Book of Scrawls, to Clogger, maybe Cloger. Hi to Voodoo and Crimson King, to Dreyfus, to Blue, hi buddy, and to James Payne, and to the rest of the beautiful digital spawn faces going to join us throughout the day. Hi to Haven Birch and to Greasemer and more. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that we can preserve our patience as we seethe and robble about how, oh my god, why are the reveal is so bad. This gives us an impression of how Midnight's going to be. Sure. I'm sure that that's being talked about now. I know you like your name. It's Lord Lube. Lord Lube. Thought some guess not. Thanks, by the way, to... Am I thinking anyone yet? Thanks to Morphexia for the Prime sub. Much appreciated. I know I've been really bad about reading off subs lately. So I do apologize in advance for that. I don't want to be like, no, I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm like screwing you guys over. Not making you feel appreciated or seen, and that's not cool. Let me read the chat now. Right quick. And make sure that I'm not missing like cool stuff. Okay, so let's see. You just finished telling us an Nevertell stream from housing and saw you in there. Oh, yeah. I was mostly in there because I was like, hey, answer this about the damn panel thing. Where's my panel? But then I answered a couple of people's questions in there too. People who weren't quite sure about stuff. Because I woke up and there was no stream. Right, yeah. I woke up and I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. And I'm like, where is it? I'm trying to do it here. Because it worked out so well the other day. I was like, all right, cool. Boop. And then I just crashed. That was it. Oh, well. No big deal. They're missing out on free marketing by not streaming. Oh, yeah. They goofed it. But, we'll just wait until we see like a proper bot. Because, later today, I want to be able to put together like a day 3 recap of what we've learned and little updates and blah, 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 blah. But I don't got it. So... Or at least I have like this spattering of stuff that we got from live tweets, which we, credit to my counterparts and, fellow streamers and content creators who are out there. But like, this was it. Please tell me that they had like more. So let's see if Dan like did like multiple tweets or something. Because if he did, great. If not, it was like, oh man, bummer. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got not a lot. That was it. So what I want to get from the panel is stuff about the story and the world and quests and whatnot. And, we're not seeing anything of that. And then we'll go over this in a bit. I'm just going to keep bitching and reading chat for a bit. Right? Can we give me a chance to like wake up a little bit more? No live stream of the panel is crazy. I have a feeling it's like kind of a Gamescom thing. It's like, okay, how, what do they let what do they allow to be streamed? You know, maybe that there could be something to that. I don't know, but oh well. Right now we can only react to how things turned out, and it didn't turn out so great. So, cheers. Hope they do a proper wildcast with all the info once Gamescom is over. No stream for the panels is very sus. I feel like it was like a kind of a last minute change. That's all. Been a rough week. Two full raids, 6 raid finder wings, and 0 loot. That's not true. You have two great vaults to rely on. Unless you also didn't do delves, Crimson King, then that's a choice. If you decided to not do delves, or go through the motions of getting keys, the veteran gear, or if you didn't do the world content either, then yeah, then that's a thing. So, how do I feel about the cinematic? Reddit seems to be mad and saying it looked like wax. I thought it looked nice. No, I thought it looked awesome, dude. I saw another Reddit thread where someone pointed out that, hey, other Reddit thread who says that the Blood Elves look like wax, y'all are full of shit, and here's why. And so they broke it down. Just why the qualities, why comparing the quality is just a bad idea. Because that thread where they talk about the Blood Elves looking like wax, it's such a low res shot. It's a terrible comparison, So yeah, that was not a good idea. I feel bad for you reading all the names. I don't feel bad for reading all the names. That's like kind of what I do. It's just that chat happened to be, a lot more folks showed up to say hi, and I do very much appreciate that. It's just more people, and so I'm not gonna be a bitch and be like, oh, too many names, guys. God. Thanks for the money, by the way. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Everyone wants a bit of time at Gamescom, probably quite a bit of sponsor money involved. I can't begin to imagine like the little things behind it, but it still sucks, right? I heard the stage is so huge it wouldn't make sense for them to just go dark through all this. I think Gamescom is actually a good idea in order to reach new players, but they need to preserve some live streaming capacity. I avoided the forums like the plague and Reddit. The amount of snark on both sides is weapons grade. Wait, both? Are you both sidesing it? Did I pre-order yet? Yes, I did. So what I typically do, like I'll have some Battle.net balance, right? I'll have some Battle.net balance, and then when the pre-order starts, I'll do the pre-order, and then at some point, because Blizzard's awesome and I'm such a shill, they give me a copy of or they give me a physical collector's edition. So then I apply that code to my account, and then I get this refund thing of what I did pay, back to my Battle.net balance, and then I turn that Battle.net balance into mounts that I give to you guys. Ta-da! So that's the circle of life of my Battle.net balance. Mostly. So don't get me wrong, the cinematic was underwhelming, but there are two words. I'm not trying to rag on you, Bragos, but there are two words that kind of get to me. Underwhelming and uninspired. And I feel like those two words or phrases are, people use those words and they rely on those words to do all the heavy lifting. It's carrying really hard. And I see it so much that I can't help but feel that those words are, in fact, uninspired. Because I don't know what you're talking about. That's one reason, for folks who are kind of newer to the channel, that's why we don't really use emotes here. We don't, we tend to use like prose and words and walls of text to express ourselves because, well, that's what I do. I bloviate all the time, obviously. So, trying to like disseminate feedback and whatnot, it does help. It does help me understand because I want to try and listen too. It helps me understand like just how people are feeling. So that way, when I'm regurgitating stuff back, I get a better idea of what people are talking about. And when they just say like, "Oh, it's an uninspired, underwhelming, whatever," like, okay, cool. I see the dissatisfaction, but I don't know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, not to rag on like any particular person, but like just seeing that word, it's like it just kind of boop, and it's hard to respond to that. Get caught up on chat. Still no squats. No. Like I did something the other day, Grim. So I'm like, I think my body's ready yet. You know, I do work out, but yeah. I think WoW players just got in the habit of doing about the game, even in the absence of info, or when things are good. I mean, that's kind of typical. That's just the internet now. Straight up. That's just the internet. To be fair, for now, all that's driving me to midnight is player housing, which is still slim, to be honest. There's still a lot that we don't know, notably like outdoor decor. We still don't know stuff about that. There's still questions that we'd love to have answers to, but unfortunately, not yet. This shows a lot more about the world. We've already seen shots from the zones. Yeah, like we have the default stuff, and I'm sure they're gonna show the default stuff too. But I'd like to hear them talk about it too. So. I thought Legend and Lothar looked them. Oh, they look cool. They look very, very cool. Lothar looks sick. But I know like one of the things that people talk about most is how Liadrin's cinematic version of herself doesn't match the in-game version of herself. But to me, like I saw some other post from Reddit where someone like used AI or something like that to like slim her up, and I'm like, oh, that's. I don't know. Like I get these like because the people who are saying these things, they're really trying to not do it, but I can't help but get these like body shaming / misogynistic vibes. You know, it's just a vibe. You know, they're not outright saying it, but that's what I feel from it. But I'm not gonna like try to. I'm not going to try and respond directly to that, because then I'm like putting words in their mouth, and that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But I just get that vibe. But anyway, the whole thing about Liadrin's cinematic model compared to her in-game model, to me, the takeaway is they need to give more character customization. Because clearly, you know, Blizzard's vision of like all these different characters is that, you know, they all, you know, is that they have different body shapes and facial structures and all that stuff. Or, you know, they want to have like these character cinematic models tell a different kind of story, but it's limited by what we see in game, and it gives us that impression. So there's this misalignment, you know, and so that causes the viewer's expectations to be like, whoa, that doesn't look like her. And I get that. So that's why I think the big takeaway is they need to increase the character customization, because not everyone wants to be like, you know, a teardrop faced looking blood elf person or whatever. You know, some people don't want to have a square jawed human. You know, maybe they want a bit of a thinner face, and I think that's fair. So, yeah, well. I'm trying to get caught up here. Sorry. I'm gonna be hopelessly behind on chat, so pray for me. Cinematic didn't have a lot going on. It didn't have a lot going on. Okay, I'm not quite. So I'm wondering like what are some people's expectations of a cinematic? So like the reveal cinematic for War Within was just two dudes talking. So there was that. And the people were like, oh my God, sword, blah, blah, blah. And I think that was like mostly what I was hearing. And then here, it's like, hey, there wasn't a lot going on. No, it was just a big void invasion and you know, a couple fight scenes, blood elves dying all over the place. And then like this kind of seesaw back and forth. There was no feats, so maybe that's a disappointing part of it. And then finally, there's a turnaround with the Army of the Light showing up, because it is in fact the Army of the Light, spoiler alert. They show up, and then the battle continues on. You know, to me, that has like kind of similar vibes to how the BFA cinematic went, where, you know, that one had to be like very carefully and diplomatically constructed in such a way that, okay, we need to give the Horde like a win, we need to give the Alliance a kind of win, and it can't conclude here, at least not in the cinematic, because otherwise people are going to get mad. People got mad anyway, but it's just kind of like this whole management of anger. So, they've been through a lot of crap, so they look weathered. They should, but Lothar is still granddaddy. I mean, I look at Liadrin as someone who's just like, she's a woman, but she's not super like, if super like feminine. I'm not finding the right words right now, but she's not like, hey, I gotta doll myself up, look hot and pretty and all that stuff while I'm kicking ass. It's just a different vibe, but it wasn't really communicated like that in game. And so again, that's where I get why people are like, oh, that's not quite how I imagined her. So glad to see me Ninja sneak into their stream. Yeah, I was like hungry for like for something. I was hungry for more. Like for me, honestly, the FOMO's real. You know what FOMO feels like? FOMO feels like when you want to be like on the floor talking about and gushing over WoW stuff alongside fellow creators, and you're not there. But I'm here though. This is a different vibe, and it's a different sort of excitement because I can talk directly with you guys on a regular basis. Because when I am like at BlizzCon and doing that sort of stuff, you don't see me talk at all. I'm not streaming, I'm not on social media. Like I'm doing like, I did that one stream that was for the opening ceremony, but like that was it. So, being able to be here and for me to be able to like share my reactions with you guys in case you guys are interested on what my reactions are to certain things, and not have to wait for like the weekend to do it, I guess, I'm hoping that people will appreciate that too. But yeah, for me, the goosebumpiness was when Lorthamar was like, when he just like did his slash spit, because now that's gonna come back. Just kidding, but it should now because he did a slash spit. But when he did that thing like, oh, you couldn't even break one alpha, I'm like, oh, that was dope. I thought that was a good line. I thought that was a strong delivery. Is the dev panel still not live yet? That's another reason why I'm just kind of like running my mouth. Nope, not ready yet. Get sad. Continuously refreshing the WoW stuff. Oh boy, this thing auto scrolled. Oh no. Okay, let me try a different chat program because this is not working out the way I want it to. Okay, so I think I caught up with myself. The way everything's been handled on Gamescom is absolutely no reflection on how midnight it's going to be. People just need to chill out. Yeah, but it's hard to just tell people, dude, calm down. No one responds very well to that. You're angry. Just shut up. Calm down. I know this because, in a way, I do that all the time. All the time. So they're not streaming the panel? They should be streaming the panel. They just haven't yet. Or they should have the VOD or something like that. Okay, I fell behind on chat somehow. There we go. So the whole level 80 character boost is currently bugged. How so? Been playing WoW since 2005, and I gotta say, you're my favorite YouTuber covering it in your years. Love your videos. Thank you. Thank you, Cole. Dude, that's fuel, man. That's fuel. By the way, thanks to Syntac for subscribing. Appreciate it. And I take those in equally. Like I appreciate both tons. Continuously refreshing the Warcraft page for the VOD. They scuffed this up hard. Whoever thought not live streaming that was an idiot. You had me up until the end. Let's see. No emotes. Oh man. Yeah, I'm really behind on chat. Holy shit. Okay, so by the way, thank you, Chris, for the Prime. Geez, people dooming on expansion based on one trailer. I thought it was such a good trailer, dude. It's the best cinematic since BFA. I liked it. I liked it because it felt not real, because it's a video game, but it felt grounded. Like BFA, it had the back and forth. You had that kind of roller coaster sort of thing. Shadowlands didn't connect the same way. There was just like the oh shit moment of when she broke the crown. Like that was a cool twist. But at least with the Shadowlands cinematic, when she was walking up by herself and she had that smug ass face, I'm like, oh my god, this is one of those anime moments, isn't it? For any anime fans out there, you know that one thing when you see like in most shonen or guy kind of anime where you have the bad guys show up with the swagger and all that stuff, and then you see like, you know, the defenders are like, oh, let's get him, and then like they bring like this big impressive looking thing, bam, and then the villain just like ha 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 shrugs it off. That's the kind of vibe that I got. So I was like, I you know, I've seen this kind of thing before. I get it. Cool. Moving on. But then it was the crown that was like, ooh, this part's cool. When they did the Dragonflight one, I did like the part of, well, it felt like there's this a bit of emotional weight, but then not really, because the characters there, they weren't like familiar to me. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Cool. Okay. Nice. Dragons. Woo, they're back. You know, so that was a cool vibe. But there's a difference between the reveal cinematic and then the actual opening, which was very like campy. It was very campy. It kind of brings you back to like the early cinematics where it wasn't trying to tell a story necessarily. It was just trying to showcase like a little bit of what's happening. And then when they did the War Within stuff, that was also, you know, that also kind of brings us back to like old school WoW cinematics, where it's just like a showcase of stuff. But for me, like the music, I think some of my favorite, like just like the heavy beats of the War Within intro cinematic was really strong. I liked it. The reveal cinematic, not so much. It's just two guys talking. So, but then this was cool for midnight. I thought it was neat. Anyway, let me continue trying to catch up with chat. So it's underwhelming purely off. Oh, thank you. Purely off the notion that Xal'atath, in the grand scheme of things, feels like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Damn you won't follow my next plan. I thought the concept of Void invading Sun was interesting, but breaking it down, it was just Xal'atath and Voidwalkers sieging the Sunwell. There's a few more, but I'd rather just put this so far. Cool. Underwhelming's not the word that I'd sum it up to, but no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's all I ever really ask for when it comes to like that sort of stuff, because it's like otherwise I'm like, huh? Not quite seeing what you're saying, because I wouldn't have thought that's what you were thinking. I was disappointed there wasn't an option to not have a house for your housing plot. I would have liked to have a portal thing so I can say my actual home was somewhere else. Let me reread that. I was disappointed there wasn't an option to not have a... Oh, to not have a house. You know, me too. I actually don't want a house. Or, you know, not an exterior house. I want a teleport pad. You know, funny enough, you know, have some cool stuff outside, whatever. I want a teleport pad, and then I want to walk onto the teleport pad, and then I instance whatever into the house, and then inside the house I'm standing on a teleport pad. Just give me that. I'm a simple dude until you let me into the house, and then I can like do all sorts of weird shit. But yeah, I don't want a house, not a house. You know what I mean? I thought Legion looked beautiful. Nice. She did look good. Thank you to Bragos. Thank you so much for gifting. Ooh, that's solid. Also, thank you to Siren Fel, to Ezreal, to Jason. Dude, you guys are cool. Yeah. Probably because we got high-res systems. You know, if you go to the... so there's a website. It's called blizzard.gamespress.com. That's where you can download, like, I don't know exactly everything they have on there, but I know they have like cinematic stills. So you can do some good comparisons there if you want to take a look at how much detail was put into like Lorthamar and Liadrin. The close-up, they don't do like the same kinds of close-ups, but Lorthamar is a pretty good close-up. Issue with Liadrin isn't that she doesn't reflect her in-game model, but that she doesn't even match her appearance in other official media. Also, like comics and whatnot. Yeah. Reveal really suffered from being in a Gamescom lineup instead of being its own thing, MO. That's the penalty, right? It's the penalty of Blizzard not having their own show, but the timing just wouldn't work. Like, maybe in hindsight, it's like, it's kind of like Disney breaking off from Comic-Con and doing their own thing. You know, there's a reason BlizzCon is a thing, but they decided to not do BlizzCon. They went ahead with this instead because of the timing, and so, you know, we got what we got. A lot of people comparing her to the Blood Elf in the BC cinematic. I'm like, you mean the priest? Oh, as if that was Liadrin? Oh, I mean, that's clearly not. At least my interpretation is that it's just generic Blood Elf A cast, you know, using, yeah, just eating a mana worm or whatever. That part is especially weird. Like, those were not Draenei at all. Lol, humans have colonized. They've colonized the Army of the Light. I don't know. I don't know at all. My hunt for Midnight has gone down dramatically. I went from Alliance and would have some Silvermoon access to have a small part, so half the player base won't have access to the new expansion main city. I'm going to accuse the gamers. I'm going to accuse the reactors of taking that quote, you know, having a small part, to be doing too much heavy lifting. Like, if, like, let's say, like, take Dalaran for example. Dalaran had two different parts to it. It had there's a certain part that was like Horde only. There's a certain part that was Alliance only, and then you had this area that was shared among everyone. Now let's pretend, all right, let's pretend that the Horde area is in fact a whole ass capital city, because it's been their capital city. We've had it already, right? It's not like this new territory that is, you know, now the Horde, and the Alliance had it before and they lost it or something like that. You know, the Horde had Silvermoon. They still have Silvermoon. But now they let the Alliance have some, you know, some part of Silvermoon City as well. As for how big, I'm not going to judge yet. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see how it feels. Like, how many yards do I have from one side to like the next? Is it a lot? Will this still feel fulfilling for me as an Alliance? You know, if I'm an Alliance character, do I still have that? I think just the fact that there is a divide at all is going to be divisive for the players no matter what. If it was 50-50, people would flip out. If it was, you know, we got this, people are going to flip out anyway. So I think in Blizzard's mind, they're like, they're going to get mad no matter what. Might as well just do what we want. Fuck them. My words, not theirs. Obviously, so. Honestly, there's just a subset of WoW players that just wants everything concerning WoW. Or they just want to keep starting shit. That's all. I imagine the Silvermoon thing will be like Donegal or Borealis, where only a small part of the whole city is the actual player hub. If the rest is Horde only, I don't really care. That's kind of what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm sort of getting. Sure, if the Amani were added as an allied race, it would make sense for them to be Alliance. I didn't see anything about Amani being an allied race. Oh no, if they're added as an allied race, I don't see that, honestly. I mean, the story needs to be told, right? What would you add to the game to help retain the older gamer base that has less time to game? I'm not a great person to answer that question. Like I said, I try to listen to other people, but if you're talking to me as a player, just keep making more expansions. That's it. Yeah. Because player housing is a thing now, and to me, that's infinite content. They can add nothing to player. If they add player housing and then they add nothing to it for like years and years, I'm still gonna do player housing because it's like, oh, I want to do this now. Now I want to do this. Now I want a theme like this because it's Legos, right? Legos have near infinite replay value until you run out of pieces. Then you just want more pieces. So that's me. So yeah, I think I'd like to hear chat. What do you guys feel about that? Because I'm a cheap date, I guess. I'm not jazzed about no new race class combos for the Horde. If Void Elves get Demon and Void Hunters, I've been dying for a Blood Elf or Nightborn Druid. That'd be kind of cool. You know, like I was saying just earlier, like the story just needs to be told, and that would be fine. I'm still holding out hope for Paladins. Like we saw that cool Tyrion Paladin person, or you know, for all we know, that might be a twist. It's like, okay, they're not actually going to do like Paladins for everyone, but that cool Tyrion Paladin that we saw is actually going to be, I'm making stuff up, okay? It's actually going to be humans. You know, you can choose the human race or whatever, but then you can choose a different body type altogether. You can choose the Stormwind human, or you can choose the cool Tyrion human. And I think that would be cool. That's something that I've been very loud about pushing. If you leave any silence in a WoW announcement, all that happens is folks filled vacuum with hate that often turns nonsensical. Cinematic was bad, but that has no content. I mean, that's everything. So, let's see. I'm worried Zoloteth is becoming that anime antagonist that you hate, but not for the right reasons. People shouldn't be angry. Blizzard has basically said the new expansion city is basically closed to the Alliance, which is they should be angry. Okay. I want to build a giant house that's basically empty inside. Nice. But the building is going to be a megalith. So an EverQuest house. Got it. Okay, I gotta skim a little bit. I'm bummed Chris wasn't in attendance. You know, I'm gonna make an accusation here. I'm thinking Metzen was not in attendance because the expectations around him are like unrealistic. People are counting on, you know, I've been seeing lots of threads, lots of rhetoric saying that, dude, okay, this is it. This is the Metzen expansion. The story is saved. Everything's gonna be awesome. Yes. And whether that's true or not, whether, you know, his involvement is like 100% as opposed to War Within's, you know, not so 100%, that's still a lot of pressure. And I would hate to be that guy, because that's a lot. Imagine being, you know, one of the old school Rockstar devs of Warcraft as a franchise, not just Warcraft, but not just World of Warcraft, but Warcraft, and you see how angry and volatile gamers can get, and then you gotta get up on stage and you gotta face that, and all that pressure is weighing down on you. I still give props to the phone guy, to Wyatt Chang, because they did the reveal for Diablo Immortal. It got shit on like immediately. And then 20 minutes later, that dude had to go up on stage and hype it up. That's rough. That was rough. That sends people to therapy. 100%. So I give that dude props for being a fucking G. He's a trooper. I bet you, like, out of everyone here, like, maybe 3 of us would have the stones to, like, jump into those shoes. I am not one of those 3. I'd be like, nope. I'm good. I quit, dude. Peace. Oh, man. I wonder if the White Elves might be folded back into the Horde, though, particularly if Hilaria is going to be the Ranger General of Silvermoon. Whoa, she's going to be the Ranger General? Since when? I didn't see that. I mean, they didn't reveal much in this thing. And sorry, I'm not going through this yet because there's still little to go over, and I'm just kind of stretching out time and otherwise chatting with you all. And there's still no thing, okay. You think they'll add a toy to harvest back to our houses? Like 130%. Absolutely. They've got to do that. Night Shoes Blizzard 2 days ago said the lines would only be blocked off from some of Silvermoon. Yeah, right now we're just getting words. So I wanna feel what that looks like, Gothos. I don't think we'll see Metzen again for the entire World Soul Saga. I think the player base has once again pushed them away from the amount of pressure they're putting on them. I did hear from multiple people that Metzen was supposed to be there. People are rightfully furious. There's no class. Demon Hunter spec caters to less than 1% of players. I guess the thing is, Lord Huzzah, is I didn't quite... They didn't quite set that up. They didn't quite set up the idea of what a new class would be. And I agree with that sentiment. You know, we're gonna have another 2 expansions, you know, 2 expansions in a row without any new class. But I just don't feel like this was the right time to do it. I think it would be way cooler to see a new class based on whatever's going to happen in the last Titan. You know, people have been saying Tinkers forever, and I'm kind of leaning on that. You know, and having a class... Okay, maybe not Tinkers, but having a class that's based on, like, Titan-related stuff, that feels cool. That feels cooler than my opinion, obviously. And my opinion is super correct. A Titan-based class would feel cooler than something based on, like, whatever happens in Midnight. My opinion. You know, so, like... I can't even really pull anything out my ass to, like, make up a class, but I just think it'd be, I think it's a better time for that. Nobody says she would be Ranger General is a file name, and that's since been changed. Okay. Yeah, isn't it like Haldren something wing? I forgot his full name. So last time would be a Bard and Tinker. Demon Hunter caters to less than 1% is Lycopian from a Demon Hunter hater. It's one of the most played classes. And to be, I know I joke about Demon Hunters all the time. Like, I often joke, like, oh yeah, cool. Like, Void form, you know, Void Demon Hunters, or you know, like a Void Demon. Yeah, that's totally going to be a Druid form. Absolutely. I mean, it's not. But yeah, we're real talk. Demon Hunters need, you know, really could do with that 3rd spec. And, you know, at the time, like, my prediction back then, when Demon Hunters were first introduced with only 2 specs, and it's like, oh, why don't they have a 3rd one? The only idea that I really had for a 3rd possible spec would have been something that was very similar to, like, an Arcane Mage, because that would kind of draw on Illidan's past as a very accomplished mage in his time, and that could have worked out. But it didn't, because it probably just would have been a freaking Arcane Mage, and that would have been it. So that'd be boring. So for them to bring up the whole Void thing, cool. At first, even I was like, oh, Void stuff? That doesn't make sense. But they wrote the story, and even if... I'm not like 100% behind the story, but they told it. So what can I say? Not much. The fans' demand for Tinkers is so big that they need to add them to Last Titan. Demon Hunter is literally more played than anything else in the game, than anything else in the current raid, I think. Well, someone's got to heal him, though. So, Necro and Tinker are probably the go-to. I don't quite see Necro. Like, Necromancers had their chance in Shadowlands. It didn't happen. And if anything, like, I remember an old concept that I made up around, not exactly necromancers, but something that leaned heavily on, like, the Shadowlands to be like this whole Master of Death thing. So, like, you know, someone who has dabbled in each of the covenants or something like that. So they have, like, you know, certain powers from the Kyrian and the Venthyr and the Necrolords and the other one. You know, they can, like, do things, and so they would be a 4-spec class, which would be kind of wild, but it'd be kind of cool. You know, I think that woulda, coulda fits. And one of those specs could have felt like a more traditional necromancer with, you know, raising skeletons and all that stuff, but it could have been other powers too, like Kyrian powers, Venthyr powers, and what have you. Because that would be more interesting, honestly, than just a skeleton razor dude. It's like, okay, have fun competing with Death Knights on, like, whatever powers you get. That's going to be great. I think I caught up with chat. Fuck yeah. Okay, so one more reload. No. You know, there might be something in 40 minutes, right? Because that's 10 o'clock. That's the usual update of things, and they might be able to squeeze something like that in. Probably not. So anyway, so what did the content creators present for us? And much love to them for like doing their best to like live tweet and make things available for us. I know if I was there, I would not have done a great job of this either. I suck at this. But at least we have like some stuff. Actually, let me double check their some other stuff. Did they give us any resources? Please. I doubt it. Doesn't look like it. Sadness. Thanks to Rhapsody, by the way. And their press site is getting slammed. Sheesh. Might do it after the arena stream? Maybe. Come on, press site. Whatever the case, first thing I saw were these abs. Like, oh, baby. That's hot. So, it's kind of funny, like the face, the facial structure, it has this really strong orc look to it. Funny enough. It's kind of weird, like this is like very reimagined, because I'm used to, you know, Darkspear looking like trolls with the larger nose and all that, but I guess the interpretation is like now different, right? They're just orc trolls now. I mean, I'll take it. Okay, so I'm not too fond of Arator's hair. It's very rebellious. But he's not young either, right? How old is he? Anyone happen to know? What's his canonical age at the, you know, by the time Midnight comes out? Because there's, you know, he was born and then said goodbyes to his parents. Time goes by. And then multiple time skips throughout World of Warcraft's timeline. Isn't he like in his like 20s at least? 30s, maybe? I don't know. But he definitely has like this rebellious look to him. I wonder if he's part of the army of the light that shows up. And was this updated? I don't know. Well, let's see. Is Trellian's armor updated? Oh, now the site goes up. Okay. You mean old model this guy? No, looks the same. So 30s. Google says 32. Voodoo says 37. So 30s, sure. To be honest, Forest and Money Trolls are kind of like ogres, an old race that has always been wild and antagonistic. We always need enemies. Yeah, like some folks have been predicting that, like, oh, at some point they're going to be an allied race. I don't quite see it, though. You know, think of, like, the Blood Trolls. Like, those dudes are, like, fiercely antagonistic. They ain't friends with nobody. I don't see... I don't see these guys like joining the Horde because they have like this, you know, you think of Horde and Alliance, oh, they have this feud, blah, blah. No, this shit runs deep, you know, between the Amani and the High Elves at the time. Like, that's like ancient warfare, you know? So I don't see them, I don't see them breaking off. I mean, even if there's like a splintered faction within the Amani. No, we don't believe in this. No, we want to work together, but we want to kill the Alliance. I don't quite see that. I don't quite see that either. So to have like, I just feel like faction-specific races are dead. It's just a dead practice at this point. You know, WoW is forging ahead with wanting players to be whatever the hell race they want without having to worry about faction. Just let them do it. So That's true. Blood Elf Mohawk. Haha. Which means we're going to get Mohawks. So, yay. Cool. Exactly the character customization I've been longing for. Is that like... Okay, is that just like a little... Yeah, I think that's just a beard thing. Okay. I thought that was like some sort of extra tattoo thing. Although I do see a tattoo thing at the corner of, you know... Yeah. I do see what looks like a tattoo, which could be cool. I'm down for that. So we have the grandkids of Zul'jin. Yeah, totally orcs with tusks, bigger tusks. Sure, I don't think we'll ever see a unique faction race again. Yeah, sad, but you know, times change. And is this model of Umbric, does it always look like this? Yo, this reminds me of the build from yesterday that we saw for the remix stuff. Oh, that stuff looks sick. Here, let me show you. It is solid. All right, where is it though? Something, here we go. This shit right here. Bigger. Oh, yeah. Like, what I really like is, funny enough, the cloak. The cloak goes hard. Oh. Oh, shit, that's on fire. Oh, even crazier. Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. Turn around. Oh, dude, just give me a full model thing of this, dude. That's sick. It's so loud, though, right? Now I wonder, like, is it just linked to the cape? If it's just the cape, dude, I'm just gonna go, like, naked. Just give me nothing but cloak. Nothing but cloak. Want to go on so bad. Okay, so you do need to do things to get these. So so if you want, okay, Fellscorned, Void Scarred. Okay, so green, purple, yellow, red, probably. So it's slightly out of order. So if you want the green one, then you just do the campaign. Okay. Do 100 world quests and heroic tier as a Legion time runner to get the purple one. That's easy. Trust. Okay, be a tank, but this won't be so hard to get. Okay, and then the third one, complete all Legion raids on mythic difficulty. This will take time, and then this is the one that I think might be is what the current me says might be a challenge. This one will just take a little while. This one feels like it's going to be a challenge because 25 seems high. And at least on the remix, I haven't quite felt that whole... Haven't quite felt the power scaling, like, get nasty. At least not yet. Because it's an early build, and we don't know exactly how it's going to work. But then the Keystone, this one is for the red one. So if you want this one, you got to do the plus 25 keys. And then this one, you just need to do the mythic raids, which is like, thank God. Okay, that won't be so bad. Sizzle Crispy, a naked Blood Up Paladin with nothing but the flaming cape. Yeah. I mean, I'll wear shoes. That that sounds like a good idea. I mean, I'm hoping that it's not like, oh, you have to like use like certain pieces in order to like open up the flaming cloak part, because I'm not a big shoulder fan. This works really well though. I really like the shapes and everything. They work out really good. Yeah. And the way between the back of the cowl part of this cloak, along with how the shoulders are rounded, it really gives that like big hollow feeling. I think that's really neat. I think it comes off really well. And they still manage to have like a little bit of 3D bits right here in the middle. I think that works out. So people will just find we'll just find the frog farm. Could be. I mean, the way I kind of look at it, Suramar is like the closest thing, but even then, it feels limited because like the superpower that we get is not very strong. It's not very strong at all. So I'm kind of rehearsing with myself about like how this is going to work out, and I really should go through the rest of like these images, but there's just so little that we learned from this panel stuff that it's just like, you know, we got that mommy whatever. This is like, then this is stuff from the pre-order, so that doesn't really teach us anything. Customizations for the Haranir, that's kind of neat. So they have automatic shoulder pads if you want that. But then of course if you want it, then of course you put on shoulders then. So is that technically hair? I guess that's kind of hair because it kind of looks like, you know, what's on top of their head. But then they're very much like the dudes kind of remind me of, wait, hold on. So that's very different. So we have this vibe here. So this one has a more elven look, and this one has kind of more of a troll look to it, right? So I wonder if this is like kind of a body type sort of change, because that's very different. Know what I mean? Yeah. So can we change like the head almost? So like here's one female, here's another female, and this one just stands out as really different. And then these are like just concepts of not well, maybe one of these could be heritage, perhaps. Yeah. Females use the troll rig, males use the night elf rig. So you're saying these are males? Because these do not look like trolls. This looks like a Darkspear troll. These do not look like Darkspear trolls at all. These guys worship the boar god, Agamemnon. I don't know how to pronounce it. Agamemnon. I never had to. I see the name, but I never had to say it aloud. Do their heads look really small? I know on Darkspear female trolls, like, yeah, their heads look a little bit small, but this seems normal. Just screams Emerald Nightmare. You mean? I guess you're referring to these with like the deep red. It's kind of cool though. They do be small. Well, this is a concept, so I'm not really going to count that. I just find this weird. This one stands out a bit too much. So I'm wondering, is this really a thing? Or not? Oh well, kind of funny. And then Silvermoon, they just show like kind of the same shots. And then a thing on the sizes of void people. So there's the Hume. Hey, she's taller than human. So like blood elves are like a little bit to the right. They're a little bit smaller. And then there's no Demencius. Come on now. Get it right. So new delves. Some of the new delves at midnight will be outside spaces where you can use your ground mounts. It's no longer a delve then, is it? You're not diving deep into a thing that's underground. You're outside, which is all right. That's cool. These are just dungeons now. They're just small dungeons, which is cool. That's how it always kind of felt to me. Ooh. So now so this one we get a glance at so this is oh, he looks dope, dude. Check that out. His head is so small. He is clearly compensating for how he was born. He definitely has something to prove to himself. I sort of hope that I'm sorry, fans. I'm not fond of her transmog. It is so red. It is so bright. And the shoulders are just insane. I hope they like kind of like tone down the shoulders, or at least like have something new, right? I think brand threads changed a bit, right? And she hasn't had an update since, I don't know when, actually. I don't know if in BFA she actually had a model update. I might be wrong about, I don't think she did, but I might be wrong about that. But I'm hoping, and then how's she going to tank? I'm going to be curious about that. I want to see how she tanks. Not a fan of the void guy that looks like Casper the ghost uncle. I mean, I'm not familiar with Casper, but he looks I think he looks badass, dude. He reminds me of, oh gosh, I forget what movie it was, but it's like a certain animation style where, you just have like this kind of cheeky looking, goon looking villain with a small head, but he like talks mad shit. But he's just like, otherwise his body type is just huge. I think that's kind of an American animated style that we see sometimes. She tanks with her mesmerizing allure. I mean, hey, she got my aggro. She's gonna heal with her. There we go. Mesmerizing and soothing spec. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Mont Mythics, you can solo most of it, but you need power, of course. You won't be able to solo it as soon as you hit max. See, here's what's funny, Gears. At level, I think 30 or 40, I soloed like 1 or 2 dungeons. I'm like, all right, let's give this a shot. Let's see how we do. And then I soloed Eye of Ashara and I think Maw of Souls. And then now that I'm max level, I'm like, I can do it, but I'm having a much harder time. Because I think what happened was I was leveling harder than what I was farming for gear-wise. Which only, like, slightly makes sense. It's hard to grasp that, and that's okay. What else? Dungeons, 8 dungeons, whoop-de-doo. All dungeons will be playable as Mythic 0 before Season 1 starts. That's cool. Now, I wonder if they're going to still do the thing, for the seasons where it's like, hey, cool, we'll be able to see these dungeons for like the first 2 weeks, but then once the season starts, half of these are going away, and only half of these are going to be used, kind of like with pretty much what they did with War Within, where half of them were just used for the season, the other half are just kind of like yeeted off until like later. So all muscle and tiny head. Yeah. Where do you watch the deep dive for this panel account? I don't know. Actually, let me reload, find out. Come on, baby. Nope. At least it's not posted here. Well, we might see something in 20 minutes. I doubt it, but I'm, super hopium there. And then here is a preview of what we're going to see Saturday. And God, I hope it's not just going to be freaking screenshots like this again. So we're going to learn about Demon Hunters in the Void. So we're going to learn about the new spec. We're going to see new talents and what form that comes in. Is it going to be new hero talents? Is it going to be expanded hero talents? Is it going to be like our base trees? Is that going to get bigger? Not sure. We'll learn about Prey and World content. Now, when they talked about this, they were talking about Prey as an optional thing. And we were having, I was trying to start a conversation yesterday about how the things that WoW is introducing these days, they're making all these evergreen sorts of platforms. We have the big 4. We have Raids, Dungeons, Mythic Plus, and Delves. What more can we add to that equates to rewards? And they're kind of like putting themselves in a bit of a corner because there's only so much kind of combat you can do. And there's that question of, do we make it mandatory for people to do? Do we make it like Torghast? Because people clearly responded to what happens when you create an activity that is... Sorry, I had to roll. I trouble there. That's super required. Okay? Not everyone responds to that so great. So the impression that I had, and from little snippets that I saw, is that Prey is optional. You don't have to do this at all. Of course, there are going to be some specific rewards that are going to be cosmetic mostly, but player power, no. It's not going to be that kind of required. But for cosmetics, then of course, you do want to have that. Or you do want to participate in that in order to like get some cool reward. And you probably want to be a tank. Because it just seems like it'll be easier. And then we'll learn about leveling experience, PvP, and quality of life updates, like the Transmog stuff. PvP is a big mystery, though. I'm not a PvPer, but I'm very interested in this topic because I've been trying to push this narrative that PvP community has been very underserved, and I know that some people's response is, well, it's because no one does it. But that's this kind of circular thinking, and I'd like to see something a little bit more to add a little bit of spice to PvP gameplay. And then of course there's the leveling experience, which we got a little bit of a hint of, and hopefully we'll learn plenty more of that. Let's see. Soul, who has your aggro more though? Valera or Vanessa? Van Cleef. Vanessa's just a silly Hume. Whatever. That's not exciting. Yeah. Valera all the way. Honestly though, I'm more of a for like high elves or alliance elves, I'm more for Varisa. Them blue eyes, baby. That's I'm happy they actually mentioned the talents. I was surprised that there was nothing on it. Outlaw can easily become a tank spec. Outlaw can easily become a tank spec? That came out of nowhere. BlizzCon's not happening in 2025. Next is 2026, probably way after midnight release. Yeah. So like, I think the model that I had some predictive model that by the time we get to BlizzCon 2026, which is going to be September, I think, we're going to like kind of encroach on season 2, I believe. So. Am I okay? Am I okay? I'm okay. There might not be another BlizzCon now that Microsoft is in control. The CFO of Blizzard was known for reducing expenses. I mean, they announced it, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah. I'm totally down for more expanded evergreen cosmetic content through things like Prey as a high-end content pusher. I just wish those cosmetics were more consistently good. Yeah, well, cosmetics are consistently subjective, though, right? I think that, where is it? Did I close that thing? I think I closed it. Sheesh. I think these look sick, right? Other people are going to look like, wow, this looks like a literal trash can. And I'm like, wow, you're totally wrong. But they're not, because it's just an opinion. So... yeah. They keep delivering. As long as they keep delivering stuff, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not fond of like the war wrap stuff that we've been seeing in the trading post, but oh well, it's there. So not everything's gonna be a banger. I don't like them keeping the coolest mogs as raid gear. So yeah, let me go back to this again. And yeah. Some of the coolest mogs that I've had, it's not raid gear. But I'm just trying to underline the point that, cosmetics and what people like, it's a super subjective thing. And I'm not trying to say you're wrong either. You're right. But I just look at it differently, so. You think they'll add playable Void Elf Paladins in Midnight? I'm hoping that they do it for everyone. I'm hoping that they just do everyone. And despite the whole thing about, oh, Void Elf Paladins don't make sense, fuck it. Whatever. I can get over it. I missed the panel. So did I. So did all of us, actually. So we'll see what happens in about 15 minutes. Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. That's the first time I've heard that one. I like that. The midnight color stuff they had this month or next, more like Twilight or Dusk, totally gray. The outlaw tanking thing, that was about the question of how she'll tank it. Ah, got it. I mean, is she gonna bust out a gun? Haven't seen that. I mean, I didn't expect Bran to bust out with a shield. So, yeah, maybe Valera will just suddenly have a gun somehow. Or no. It'll probably be like Perry spec. You know? She'll just be like cling, 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 deflecting shit and all that. There's also some cool that the systems panel will not be about housing. Kind of a shame. The lead on housing is on leave right now. I don't know if he shared why he was on leave, so I'm not going to say anything. But I don't think that should stop them from doing a panel. I think Paul Cubitt would have been just fine to like talk a lot about housing. At the same time, though, you know, we are going to get housing sooner than this. So maybe, you know, talking about it too much wouldn't have been very conducive, because now we're counting in the number of months until we get our hands on housing. So think about it like this. We're currently on the 10.25 PTR. The guesstimated launch date of 10.25 is going to be October? Yeah, like sometime in October. So kind of soon. A week or two after that, we're going to get the PTR for 10.27. Is player housing going to be on the PTR for 10.27? I hope so. So that way I can cheat and start building a house and see if I can export that. Because they did talk about, they did mention that, yes, you'll be able to import housing builds. So my hope is that, oh, dude, I'm going to use the PTR, start getting used to shit. And of course, get like information so that way people can start farming for materials and do achievements and all that stuff. But also, if I could start building sooner than later, then I could just do like a import and be like, all right, cool, day one, and then I have like all these like different options and whatnot on what I can put together. That'd be sick. I feel like such a cheater, but I feel like that's plausible. You know, I think they were saying that the feeling of importing housing builds wouldn't be so different from like talents. You know, you just do import, copy, paste, whatever. So, hell yeah. Is this panel being streamed on Warcraft's Twitch or YouTube? Neither. At the moment, neither. So we keep doing F5s and we keep seeing if it's going to be posted on YouTube. The last I saw, this is on another stream, Holly Longdale straight up said, oh, they're working on it, it's going to be on YouTube. And there was another person on Twitter who said, yeah, it's going to be on YouTube once it's up and ready and all that stuff, because I guess they wanted to do some proper edits that I guess weren't quite in there. So by that, it's probably, you know, they want to cut from speaker talking over to like screenshots, like proper screenshots, things like that. So yeah, bummer, but oh well. This was the major announcement. Why is there not a VOD or central location for all the info? Why do I need to visit 10 sources for secondhand info? That's how it be. I'm trying to remember. Help me remember, guys, because this is like 9 years ago now. Legion was announced during Gamescom. And I think back then, they just didn't say anything. I think they just gave us like the cinematic, a couple of little bits, and then they said, cool, wait till BlizzCon in a few months, and then you'll learn more. Is that how that went, pretty much? I think it was. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, because that was a long time ago now. I wasn't even born back then. I have to wonder what smaller features are going to be subtly hotfixed in more like Warband legacy reps. Don't know. I think for that we'll also have to wait for like the fireside chats. I know Mr. GM's doing one. Teles and Nevitel are doing one as well. That's going to happen Saturday. And hopefully we'll get more info then. Now, if you really want to wait, I'm going to try my best and do like a really, really big recap that I'll put out hopefully Sunday. That's the goal for me, where I'm just going to take all the little bits of tendrils of information that's out there, including stuff that I've already talked about in previous recaps, including whatever we learned today, and smush it all into like one spot. So that way people can have like a single spot where it's like, okay, let's have someone read out everything that we've learned. So they had a little deep dive on the Sunday of Gamescom. Okay. Yeah, I just don't remember. Villers in Assassination Rogue, she'll remain Assassination, which means she'll use the powered up threat, damage reduction, and poison to protect herself. Oh, is that what they said? Okay. See, that's the kind of thing that I wanted them to put into their tweets. So is that what actually happened? Oh, that's making shit up. Jesus, man. Yeah, be careful of that. Be careful of that, because misinformation can get fired off real quick. Like the whole thing with the free transmog, I can see how that was misread, because there's like a vague post somewhere, and I can see it too, where they talk about how did they word it exactly? They used the words free swapping, right? And at the time, I guess Wowhead and other folks, and then me too, I thought that meant free transmog, but it was free swapping. But it was more like when you set up your situation, which does cost gold, you can switch between or swap between your situations at no cost. So it's still a big savings that you're gonna get, right? But yeah. Oh well. That's playing telephone. That's how it goes. As well, that been the hardest expansion to find any info on? This feels no different to me, at least. Yeah, I guess I'm experienced with this sort of thing. So like there's like certain websites that you go to, or sometimes you go to, sometimes you don't, because some publications they'll pick up on stuff, sometimes not, where you'll find like interviews and stuff. Sorry, has three. Yeah, there's three things going on. There's the systems panel that goes on, I believe, first, and then later in the day, that's where you'll see the fireside chats. So my plan is, on Saturday, hopefully there is a recap, or there's a stream, and then we'll watch it together, which will be fun. Or there will not be a stream, and then I'll still be streaming, and I'll be standing here bitching with you guys. But hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have enough info that I can start putting together like a big beefy thing to put out Sunday. So that's the plan. Bar. You're still going to save gold with the slots too, as you won't have to pay gold every time you want to fix your transmog after getting new experience. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so once you have like if you have an outfit that you have set for yourself, even if you get new gear, you put it on, your outfit's not going to change. It's just going to be like what it is. Of course, if you do want to see what it is, then you need to change it, and then there's that cost to it. Now, I still would prefer that they leave the costs fixed, right? Like, don't inflate them as the item level goes up, because that, to me, that doesn't really make any sense. Repairs, kind of different, but transmog, yeah, not so much. I owe you 3 roulettes during raid. Just don't spend them then. Jeez. If I'm obviously not on, maybe don't do a roulette, because I got nothing to do. Yeah, it's not going to be free, but switching between outfits, the way that it's been clarified to me, will have no cost. Because if you just walk into a city, your transmog will change to whatever outfit you have set. It's not like, oh, that'd be terrible. You walk into the city, cha-ching, and then your gold value just goes down. Oh, what the fuck? What just happened? Then you walk outside, cha-ching. Oh shit. Yeah, that would suck. Just noticed yesterday, Demon Hunter is the worst transmog character in the game. Everything is edgy, even if it's trying not to be. Oh, they just gotta use weird shit. I mean, when you use metamorphosis, that's like different. So, girlfriend changes her mogs every time we get out of a dungeon. She'll be broke still, sadly. Why is that? Why is she? I mean, if you leave the dungeon, like if you have a dungeon set and then a not dungeon set, that's not going to cost anything. If she's changing her gear a lot, that's also not going to change anything because you're transmogging based on slot and not gear pieces. So it's only when it's like, oh, I feel like changing to this. I feel like changing to that. You know, and you like to change individual pieces. So what you can do, honestly, I have joked about this yesterday. You can have one situation where you have like, this is the set that I almost always wear, right? But then you go into your house and then you're still wearing everything, but you just change your feet into like slippers or you're barefoot. And it's like, okay, that's it. And that's not going to cost you anything. It's the worst. I can obliterate any mog on my monk. I've never lost a trial of style, even off theme. Wow, big talk. Or you just outed yourself as like a 5-boxer, but I heard that single slot transmog is also free. It is not. So if you get any piece of questing gear, you can transmog that specific piece. But no, that from what we've been told is not correct. Individual changing of stuff is not free. We don't know if it's going to change. We just know that it's not free. I'd like it to change a little bit. That'd be nice. But the thing is, like, but the big improvement though is if and when you do change gear, your appearance will stay the same because you're transmogging your slot, not the individual piece. Maybe there'll be randomized situations too. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I can campaign for that. Hey, Blizz, make a situation that's just called random. That would be sick. That would save me a lot of money. That would save me 12,000 gold a week. Yeah, I think I spend like anywhere between 50 to 80,000 gold a month just on changing transmog. Just cuz, right? Yeah, an item slot that's just called random. That is good feedback. Hell yeah, dude. Hopefully that's how it works, and only saving or making changes has a cost, and switching doesn't would match situation. Yeah, absolutely. It's basically glamour. Yeah, and that's what I've been preaching for you know, ever since I started talking about, ooh, transmog costs are too high. I've been suggesting basically a glamour, you know, glamour plates. They should just do that. And so they are going to mostly adopt that, which I'm cool. Random head sounds bad. No, random head is an adventure. It's awesome. If switching on demand had a cost, but situations don't, that would make people micromanage situations too much. I guess the question would be like, how many situations can we make? Because I honestly don't care about situations. I just want to be able to swap between things and not, you know, and just be able to like have it. That's how I'd like it to be. So I don't care about situations. I just want to be able to do a pull down. I want to switch to this outfit because I feel like it. Boom, done. Right? Now we just need armor die. I would love to have armor die. That'd be pretty sick. I have a feeling excuse me. I have a feeling that the PTR is not stable, but we'll see. In the meantime, let's take a look and see if there's any news or if there's any post of stuff. Where is it? Not that. Nope. There you go. So, come on, baby. Nope, still nothing. I'll wait for 1 minute. What item level does the 80 boost put us at? It's currently bugged, but 645 item level. Yeah, 645 feels low. Well, yeah, what's it supposed to be? Yeah, is 645 low? No, it should be 651. At least. There's a new short. Pack your pots and sharpen your blades. The renowned in other systems is what's bugged? Ah. That sucks. Well, wait, how would that work, though? Because, like, if we boost... Yeah, what kind of renown are we supposed to get? Because if you're on a veteran account, if it's our account, and we use the boost, would we even get any renown out of it? Because our renown might already be, like, pretty high up. So it just didn't boost the reps. Okay. So it's a raid overview? Whatever. No, not 6. I'm thinking 651 would be fine because 651 gets you in Raid Finder right away. But that's it. Is Devour Campsite still bugged too? I think so. Yeah, or, well, this is the PTR, but yeah, not seeing it there. I want other stuff. I want the panel. Has the panel been here already? Nope. It is still not uploaded. Showcase, blah, blah, blah. Yep, still nothing. Have I heard anything about additional hero talents at midnight? Nope. They are very tight-lipped about it. So we're going to learn about that on Saturday. Hopefully not through just live tweets. Because otherwise, yeah, Wowhead's going to be doing some heavy lifting. Oh, no. Actually, it doesn't see... I can't tell. It doesn't look like Wowhead was... it doesn't seem like they're there. At the thing. You know, at Gamescom. Which I find odd. I wonder if they'll go the Final Fantasy path, a new skill or updated skill every expansion. Isn't that what WoW does too? We just get new abilities and stuff. New Demon Hunter hero talent tree Annihilator shared with Vengeance drops meteors on enemies. Is that confirmed or are you making stuff up? New abilities, but it's usually max level. Well, I mean, well, not exactly, because the hero talents gave us a new ability, like, at 71, right? Okay, sometimes it's a new ability, sometimes it's like this modified kind of thing. Or, you know, it modifies existing abilities to make, like, this new effect. I think it means how some skills transform into other skills as a level up, like an attack might turn into an attack with a bleed effect or something. 635 isn't bad because you can still get the back and the belt that gets you to Raid Finder level. I'd say just make it 651, just, you know, make it easy. I think they'll move the current hero talents to the class inspectors and give us a new Void Light themed hero talent. I don't know. I mean, that's plausible. Or they can take, like, some of the favorite stuff and just add it to the class or spec tree. Or maybe mostly the spec tree. Because if you think about it, hero talents, you know, if we were to... Here, let me just make that go away for a bit. A hero talent is basically like a node that's down here, right? And, you know, you have the hero town. So if you just take this and move it down here, that's just like adding new rows. It's just that it's exclusive to whatever that thing is. It's just shaped differently for the sake of the user experience kind of thing. So they could do that too. They could have done that from the very start if they wanted to. They just didn't. You know, where you know, you choose one path and you have to go all the way down and you have no choice, but they just decided to separate it. So upright foreskin? What? There's an interview with Ian. Someone in my guild linked it in our Discord. He's done like a video one or something else. It was on Twitch. I know that there was like some shorts that he did where he was at like the Gamescom desk along with Paul Keevitt. So that could be one thing. Yeah, if it's from the Gamescom desk, then I think that might be like from here that we saw with these shorts, where he talks about player housing, he's talking about this stuff here, and that was it. So was there like more? I mean, this is what the WoW team decided. Oh, okay, this is worthy enough. What I want from Hero Talents is more rows. I really don't want everyone in the game doing void and light attacks constantly. Lol. Yeah, how would that fit though, thematically? Like, does the Naru show up and be like, "Hey, let me give you some powers," and then the Void's like, "No, let me give you some powers," because it's like clearly the Void is antagonistic in this situation. Oh, like I talk for orcs to be. Oh, you know, I remember. Oh, one really popular video I put out was, at the time, the WoW model viewer separate program. It had like somehow from shenanigans you can access in a different animation where undead, trolls, and orcs. Well, not orcs at the time. I think that was already a thing. It was undead and trolls, where they had like this upright walking animation, and it seemed kind of awkward. You know, it just seemed like somehow they were attaching like the skin to like a different rig, so it had like a different race's animation, but it just had the undead and Darkspear troll skin on it, and it looked kind of awkward. But they were still upright, and people were like, "Oh my god!" But it didn't turn out to be a thing. So, bummer, big bummer. All right, I'm going to entertain myself with stuff as we keep chatting about things. You're excited to return to Quell Loss? Yeah, because we haven't been there since TBC. Which is like a real shame, because it looked cool, but then there was like no reason to really like stick around. Like there was like no you know, return quests, stuff like that had us go back. Nothing like that. I think last time we'll have Tinker class, but it'll be somehow Titan powered. That's my prediction, at least. It's loose though. Like I don't know how well that's gonna take off or whatever. But I think it's, you know, it's probably not gonna be called a Tinker. But it'll be, you know, I think someone said Artificer. That sounds a bit more plausible of a naming convention. But I can definitely see something where Titan technology is being like heavily used as part of the gameplay. I'm still hoping that they do another freaking range class. Oh, I'm sorry, not a range class, but a gun-toting class. Like, give me that, dude. It just doesn't. It's one thing, I guess, for demon hunters to have their a weapon that's mostly exclusive to them, but you know, hunters have had that like forever as well. Did I see that the new quest will also be connected to the old world and not be its own world? Yeah, I saw that. Now I wonder if it's going to be like this. If they straight up like drew it into into Eastern Kingdoms, or are they going to utilize tech that is similar to Zeralite Caverns and Kazalgar, where you get closer and it starts to initiate like this load screen or whatnot. So no load screen, but it still is a load screen. Okay, yeah, it's not stable. Never mind on the remix. I'll just goof around on live. D&D holds the rights to Artificer and the name. Wait, Artificer's not a normal word? It's a D&D word? Like a copyright word? I thought it's just a word. Artificer plus Draenei plus Exdar rebuild would make sense. But what do they have to do? Well, if we're sticking to Titans, what do they have to do with the Titans? Was that remix? What zone was that? That was High Mountain. Artificer gun-based class with Tinker elements. With Draenei, with you. I sense the I sense this kind of Me Too vibe, you know, for like the Draenei. What about us, man? What about us? Give us something too. I mean, like I say, if the story is written, then sure. I don't see where the Draenei fit into like Titan stuff though. There are tons of Draenei artificers. I mean, okay, let's not get hung up with the word, right? We don't know if that word's going to be a thing. They might call it, you know, new class, builder dude. You know, all right, builder dude. That's it. That's canon now. We got, you know, I'm going to roll a human builder dude because they got buildy things. So, where's your Draenei attachment now? Well, of course, Draenei are going to have builder dudes too, right? So I just got here, so I'm sorry if you talked about it, but I was trying to look up more about the prey feature. From my understanding, it's going to be like Slayer and RuneScape. We're essentially hunting. I don't know. They have not talked up official information about how prey is going to work out, except to say that it's not going to be like this required feature for progression or anything. It's not like going to be, oh man, I better work on my prey stuff so I can get the gear that I need to get into like keys and stuff. So it's not going to have that kind of vibe to it. It's going to be more like, ooh, there's a cool reward that I want in order to get it. Or there's this cool cosmetic thing or a mount or something that I want. I got to, and I need to, you know, do like this many different prey activities on the nightmare mode in order to get it. That's going to be kind of the player behavior for that. Which is the name Bob if Builder becomes a thing. Builder Dude is the official name, okay? Builder Dude. 2 words, of course. Builder Dude rolls off the tongue pretty easily, but it's got to be 2 words. Capital B, capital T as well. So just want to clarify that as well. I mean, the class should be ranged with guns, bombs, and stuff. Then you have a transformation, which is like a controllable vehicle, and with other spells and different skins per race. I think of what's her name, the Earthen with like the freaking Doc Ock backpack with the arms and shit. I want to see that kind of as, you know, part of the concept of what the Titan Builder Dude class is going to be. Because I don't exactly see like, I mean, I can see them using guns, but I don't exactly see them doing like bombs and stuff. To me, that wouldn't make sense in the context of Titan technology. Like, I don't think of Builder Dude and think, oh yeah, they're gonna throw bombs and shit. Instead, what I see are like Titanic constructs. You know, like the weird orb shit that we see, stuff like that. I may swap my shaman to one if the attack animations are any good. think Prey is done right, paired with housing, will have an outsized impact on player retention in the form of content people do past the first month of every patch. I don't think so. To be honest, like, I'm excited to like try out Prey and all that stuff, but I'm not going to put any weight on it as, ooh, dudes, this is the thing that's gonna get people to stick around. No, frankly, I think it's just another cool activity thing that to do that might have some goals that people want to strive for, but I'm not gonna let it meant in my head, at least, it's not doing any heavy lifting. It's not gonna be like, hey guys, I know you haven't been playing for a while, but there's this new system called Prey where blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not counting on it being like I guess I'm keeping my expectations low. How about that? They're quite tempered. Why wouldn't it be called Tinkmaster? Localization. Bet you. Builder dude. We're sticking with that. And by the way, for me, dude is a it's not gender specific. Dude, yeah, dude, that's kind of a weird word. I'm just gonna, it's what's the word? Androgynous? Is that a better term for it? Whatever. Builder dude. Gender neutral, sure. Still no vibe? Let me double check. See how determined I am to not play? I'm just let's see. Nope, none yet. So I did manage to make gear, finally. So I did. What did I do? So I made myself a mythic weapon. I made myself a heroic thingamabobber. But this trinket is still too good. 626 trinket. It's gonna keep my score low forever, which is fine actually, because that means, because this thing feels just way too good for its item level anyway, I think I'm just gonna, easily keep nailing like 100s on my item level bars for healing, that is. So yeah. I'm such a fucking goof, man. Low score, yeah, exactly. High parses. I was really hoping to get like a tier piece though. And I do want to replace this. I think my co-tank, he got like one of the trinkets that I would have wanted. But I don't think he would be able to trade it anyway, even if he wanted to. But no, he won it. So I'm hoping that I get a replacement for this one, because this one is good, but I think this feels better for Mythic Plus, because this procs off of blocking, dodging, and parrying attacks, not just taking damage, because that would give me a more consistent proc rate. But this is pretty good anyway. This is helpful for like the Soul Hunters is what it's called. Yeah, where you have like multiple things going on and you're constantly under attack. Like, this procs a lot, so it's been useful. But I can do better. I'm even 700. Hell no, dude. This trinket's gonna keep me down. This is gonna keep me down. This shield is probably gonna keep me down too, because I happen to finally get this thing. I finally got this in this season. If I can get lucky enough to get a hero piece of this, then I'll replace it with that. But otherwise, it's been a mitigator of stuff. No, I don't think I'll ever surpass your item level. So, yeah. I don't need to, though, because I'm hot shit. Item level's just a number, baby. What zone am I most excited for? Quality Loss, easily. Quality Loss. Now, the other zones that are like are new, which I appreciate the newness of it, but nostalgia demands that I get into Quality Loss and like kind of revisit the zone that the zone that it is now, and see like just what had changed over time. That's why you had both among you. Nice. BOEs are cheap, by the way. End of expansion means there's really nothing to push for a lot. There's just been a lot too, or it feels like there's been a lot, because on my realm there's been a lot of BOEs. So it's not just a Yeah, I mean, it's partially that. It's partially the demand, but there's just been a lot of them too. Holy/Shield are both 720, but Blizzard system won't let me upgrade my prop weapon without crest still. Oh, that's weird. Dracula war and Mob. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they be in Legion? I can answer that actually. So the way the Legion remix starts, you start off as, okay, I won't be able to explain this very well, but the premise of the Legion remix is different from the Mob remix. So the Legion remix, you start your character, and it's assumed that this character that you made, there's a version of that character that is the champion of Azeroth. They have the artifact weapon, they've done stuff, whatever, and you're like this alternate version of that person who has like nothing, but you somehow ended up there. So you this makes very little sense, right? It's hard for me to explain it, but yeah, I can't really explain it too well. Just that they do tell a pretty in a kind of a roundabout but convincing way that the character that you made is from that Legion timeline, where Drakthir were just not a thing. And on top of that, Blizzard just didn't want to do all the work. So that's why. So I would say, first off, they did in fact just decide, I'm sure, now we're not going to do Drakthir. Let's explain how. Cool. Here's the story. This explains how. Done. That's it. Wouldn't you be able to play Drakthir but not Evoker? How would that work? Drakthir are at the moment, Drakthir are Evokers and the Evokers are Drakthir. So until expecting them to make a couple short quests for Evokers and an artifact weapon, but I guess not. Nope. That's I guess that's one of the cardinal things for them. Like, they're not gonna make a new they're not gonna make like new stuff. They did make the quest line as part of like the premise of, at the very start for everyone as to like why you're there, kind of similar to the Mob remix. But then after that, yeah, nothing. Yeah, so I guess another way to say it is that in the Legion remix, you're not a visitor going into the Legion timeline. You're actually in the Legion timeline. It's just kind of this weird alternate sort of thing. So only only races from that era will actually exist. So, but yeah, that's just the story they told. Ultimately, it was Blizzard's decision why they didn't want to do it. And if anything, it also gives them that excuse, because if they did allow Drakthir to become a thing, then they would need to revisit this again and again and again every time there's a new class introduced, and that's just, something that they would or could and maybe should do, but they're like, nah, let's not subject ourselves to that. Okay, so I think I have one key on me. No, I have two. But is there anything that I really want? Like there are pieces of champion gear that I guess. Okay, let me look at. I do want to get a new neck. I think that's like the one thing that and maybe a ring, but I don't think the ring and neck selections that are available in Delves are great. I guess we'll have to look that up. So we'd have to look at items and specific alley necks introduced. Dude, that won't work. Yeah, because like if I were to try and do a database search, I'd have to look at like all the necks that have been existing in Delves since the start of War Within, plus what's coming in from the new Delve, right? Damn. You just can be Evokers, you can be Drakthir? What? Oh, I'm just talking in the context of evokers. Yeah, I know that they could be other races. They could be other classes. So yeah, I misspoke that, but that's what I meant. I'm just talking about the evoker stuffs. You pinged me on Discord. Okay. Oh, jeez, dude. The whole artifact weapon being necessary is a huge amount of work. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll just keep doing delves until I get like a ring or I'll have to, yeah, I'll need to somehow do a proper search of like the different necks and rings that come from here. Evoker overhaul would be awesome. I hope they don't do that. I'm glad they didn't do that, because then there would need to be a thing for the non-Legion timeline. Or, I'm sorry, the non-remix timeline. So then they would need to they need to ham-fist and make that into becoming a thing before we forget about that too. And that just feels like a big waste of resources, unfortunately. Let's see, finger and shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do a good search on this, but available in patch 11.2. I'd be okay with just playing an observer evoker without an artifact weapon. Okay, so changes by source, and then these I think are Band of the Unseen Hand. Is that a delve thing? I don't know. Damn it. Whatever. Okay, let's see. What's a bountiful delve? Please have the new delve be bountiful. Please, please, please. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. We're going to Koresh. Did you feel the cinematic needed more masculinity? No. According to my son online, Lothamar doesn't count. Just FYI, I just like playing Blood Oaths, but I thought maybe the music needed less Disney music? Disney music? Maybe I didn't quite pay enough attention to it, but yeah, Disney music is not the vibe that I got from that. Everyone's so focused on Midnight Legion Remix, we forgot the upcoming 11.25 next month. Am I the only one super afraid of how empty it could be? No, don't be afraid of it. I don't know if we're going to see story quests that might be encrypted. We haven't seen encrypted quest lanes in a little while now. But otherwise, the big things that are coming with that would be, or the biggest thing, I guess, outside of the remix, would be the turbo boost, which I think I have mostly praise for turbo boost. I think it's a brilliant way of injecting a little bit more life into the season for those who want to push a little bit farther. I get why some people are pissed about it, because they're like, oh man, now I need to spend this much more time maxing out my gear and all that stuff. That is a true thing, and I see how people can feel frustrated over it. At the same time, though, it also lets you push a little bit further than you woulda, coulda without it. When Pally Discord opened, I guess I wanted a little more drastic music, but I thought it was amazing. The Ecodome dungeon as an epilogue is like in a cutscene, I feel. Wait, it literally had a cutscene. Didn't it? Yeah, there was a cutscene. With cute little birds and everything. Teleport. Haven't forgotten the data mining in the Vampire Survivors game mode. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully not scrapped. It could have been. No one's talked about it. Haven't seen any data mining stuff about it, so it might just be gone. I mean, like part of the whole Vampire Survivors thing is where we saw like the bikes, right? And ever since, I think by now we've seen all the bikes, so it might just not have panned out. Which is funny because like we saw Vampire Survivor stuff like go on a lot, but I think part of what that was, like I think Awakening the Machine was supposed to pull off that vibe. I never got a chance to test it myself. I don't know why I didn't have time to test it myself, but I think that was what it was supposed to be, honestly. And then it didn't pan out, and then they hobbled it together to what it was, and it became what we have. So I meant the end of the dungeon. Yeah, the end of the dungeon had, well, it had this quest, and you did the quest, and then you got a cutscene, and then that's it. Okay, so anyway. I think I should play the game a little bit too, huh? Haterang, Aegis, go. Okay, so I'm mostly here because I'm hoping for, maybe I'll take a champion ring if it's like decent, and I'll upgrade that. When Paladins came out, I wanted something like Warhammer music. Yeah, but this isn't Warhammer, right? Okay, now I kind of want to watch it again, because now I want to listen to the music. Hold on. Hold up. Wait. Alright, come on, Windows. Show me the thing. Something. Okie dokie. So let me double check if you guys can hear stuff. So I want to watch this again because I want to see what some of you guys are talking about with the music, not being too Disney or whatever.
Guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is
Turn up the music a little bit.
The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light
Liadrin, it has begun. I need you with me on the wall.
Lorthamar, the void will envelop us soon. Only the light can save us now.
No. The time for prayer has passed.
The sunwell will not fall. Not while I draw breath.
I totally can tell
Little elves. I can see you grow weary. How much longer can you hold out? Flee and save yourselves.
Liadrin, don't.
Light be with you. You see? She understands it's hopeless. Soon, you all will.
It's weird how she was so misdirected by
The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through... I know that I am unworthy.
I love this one.
I don't know if I deserve your help, but I know my people do. Please give them strength.
I admire your spirit, but that will not save you. Soon, I will break your world.
You can't even break one elf.
Like this, she says.
This darkness comes to devour everything. And when it is finished, there will be no more light. Without your aid, we will perish. I beg you, help us. Will not fall.
Not while we draw breath.
I mean, yeah, that was literal Disney. Absolutely. That was good. Not some of your guys' favorites. No, that's all right. But it was still fucking good. All right. What was I doing? Okay, let me take this off now. I think if the eyes had been too glowy, you wouldn't have been able to see the emotion in them. Mo. No, I'm with that too. Like, or I'm kind of mixed on it. Like, it's one thing if, it's one thing to not see like the full glow like we're used to seeing, but I also think of something like, not a good example. Yeah, these aren't good examples, but think of Batman the Animated Series. Anyone watch that? I know it's not a great example, but it's where you have like, you don't really have like the widening eyes to, you have to really emphasize the widening eyes to invoke emotion there. And I don't think that would work. I don't think it would work out so great if you had like too much of a glow. So I saw something about Amani on Twitter. Is it real? I mean, Amani trolls are like, they're going to be a thing, but they're not going to be a playable race now. Wrath BFA Mob Legion cutscene is why people have such high expectations of this one and were disappointed. Oh, that's a take. Everyone's got a different ranking, so you know. Wrath is still my fave, but this one compares squarely to the rest. To me, BFA is still number one. Number one. I mean, scratch out the garbage alliance stuff, and yeah, BFA for sure. Like for me, the whole For the Horde ramp up was it just crushes most of the cinematic stuff. Again, just my opinion. I'm just right, but yeah. They all had like some really cool moments though. Like it's sick. It's very, very cool. All right, music. There we go. These days they actually do 2 cinematics, so it's like they embraced the Netflix episode era instead of the big blockbuster. I mean, yeah, they did that with both Dragonflight and War Within, because Dragonflight you had a different sort of intro, or you had a different announcement cinematic versus the actual intro. I feel like this carries itself well as both, which would tell me, how dare they give us less content or whatever. Grr, Blizz, you know, I can kind of see that happening. Okay, so what am I doing again? Drake's rescued. Where do I go? I think I was going the right way. That's leaving the delve. Don't go that way. Low screen grabbing of Glacier's peak with Tyrannus's voice narrating. Do I just drop down? Oh. Ha ha ha. There's a button. Oh wait, no, that's not the button. But oh well. I'll hit that. I guess I was supposed to drop down. Okay. Cause I got back vocabulary to say something different, so I'll just call it the latest meme name. How far into the infinite last artifact talent did you film in PTR? 20, I believe. 20. Which is kind of like whack, because it only gives you about 2,000 or so main stat, which I think is like pretty low. So I'm like, I hope I can get more than that. Look at my buffs. Oh, you're talking about the fall damage thing? Okay. I'll just know next time. That's all. I'll be happy to see the Lursa again. Working with her and seeing her grow was one of my favoriteest Legion memories. Frostfire Ridge and cinematic. That was pretty badass too. I'm fond of that one. That was a cool moment. I still haven't played through Shadowmoon Valley though. And I know people were, people were, okay, I don't remember what people were saying about the whole Void Star Velen thing. Like, I forget what happened there. I mean, did people like that one? Well, China is serious about banning boosting. 2,500 players punished. Ooh. I missed when Shadowlands was live. I left in the middle of BFA and came back when Dragonflight was out 3 weeks. Did you miss a lot? I'd say you missed out on like the coolest thing, which was domination shards. Yeah. I unironically did enjoy domination shards. Because I'm a weirdo. But I did like it a lot. And this dude's living for a long time. I think I'm missing something. Probably a kick or something like that. By the way, how good is probability damage for solo content like this? I guess you aren't missing that much from current red, haha, but still. I don't know. For me, prot has been fine. I live forever the way that I play. And I'm missing this kick because this dude has like a bajillion bubble. Not anymore though. I like Wrathgate. Wrathgate was cool too. I'm stuck in combat. That's cool. There we go. Okay, so Bran is getting XP. I'm about to hit 4. Yeah, I'm about to hit thing number 4, which was just like cosmetics, so like whatever. Not a big deal. I mean, Wrathgate is what really kicked off the whole cinematic thing. It was the first, right? And when I mean first, I mean like not just like a trailer or whatnot, but like a real like, mid questing sort of movie experience. I think we got like some small. I kind of recall there being a sort of cutscene in Magister's Terrace. where they talk about Caligos or something like that. Like something happens there, but it was like really limited back then. You can max brand XP, but Delver's Journey is kept at 4. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to go any higher than 4 anyway. Right? Yeah. Oh, I hope these guys don't heal. Shit. There's a cutscene when you're... Yeah, Magister's Terrace is where that was. Yeah, not Sunwell exactly, but Magister's Terrace. If Lorsa ends up pregnant, Lothamar's death is confirmed. Damn. I mean, we don't even know if he's going to live past that scene, right? But he's not dead yet. So for now, I'll take it. Now, one thing that they didn't mention, or at least it doesn't sound like it was mentioned, I'm sure that someone would have said it, is that during the story panel, they didn't really hint about, you know, or were coy about, oh, you know, something's going to happen to Lorthamar, or something's going to happen with Blood Elf leadership, blah, blah, blah. Like, that didn't sound like it was going to be wasn't mentioned. So, you know, part of me is thinking so far, okay, we're going, you know, he's going to live. But that's kind of, that's big cope right there. I almost forgot about the whole phase diving ability that lets me like nuke these guys like super hard. Because how much DPS did I end up doing? 427 million off of like multiple phase cutting things. Haha. Let's Getting Cinema is one of the only gaming trailers that can give me chills even once, let alone every time I watch it. For me, it's the BFA one. Like, cause you have that. I'm gonna play it again, just for fun, just to remind you guys. We'll see. We'll see if this like hits at all. Maybe not. But this is me having an excuse to play it. Oh, wrong program. Let's do it again. Let's go.
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
Close ranks! Advance has won! Lordaeron will be ours! My king, we have her cornered.
It's a best helmet too, though. That's the same.
Keep firing!
It's like, the big thing is like, it's a big map for it. So it's gonna hit everyone a little bit differently. they get their moment, whatever. Whatever moment, yeah.
Stand as one for the Alliance!
Who's gonna like like he knew this was like Death Wish. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna look really awesome, but I'm going first. I'm totally going first. Straight up, geared down, naked, nothing but an axe. Yeah. You know, Chuck didn't make it. Sorry, Chuck. Good form, but you're dead. So no, he was up front. So like his upper limit, like no, he ain't gonna roll very high. If anything, it does show just like how like awesome like fucking this dude is compared to these guys. Oh, I'm gonna hide behind my shield and my armor and blah blah blah. Yeah. What punks. Is the panel is it on VOD? No, still not on VOD. Let's do another reload. Nope. Is it a short? Okay, they got people excited for day 3. Cute. But nope. Nothing like that. Yeah, we are waiting for it. Yeah, it kind of sucks because I will do the recap with or without the stream. I just really would like the VOD to work with, because then I can actually give some good information. Otherwise, it's gonna be like a YouTube short. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be hella short of a recap. One more housing stuff. I want it all. I want it now. And I feel you. You know, I have a feeling that part of why they're not talking too much about housing is because they've been talking about it like in drip format throughout the year. It's not enough, but oh well. Lol probably makes up the guy behind their shield. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. Do you think we'll be able to test it before 11.27? Oh, will housing be on the PTR? I hope so. Because, yeah, player feedback and all that, right? I don't know. Yeah, it won't be enough until it's live, right? And even then, once it is early access, like, it's going to be limited. You know, we still need to get like official word, but I'm pretty confident we'll be able to set up a neighborhood, you know, make join a public or private neighborhood, or set up a private neighborhood. But the things that won't be available will probably be the leveling track. You know, so our houses are only going to be able to get so big, and we'll only be able to get so many features out of it. Which would actually kind of suck, now that I think about it. Yeah. That actually sucks, because if there's a limit, like if there's a room limit, that's one thing. But if there's a limit on the kinds of, if they also limit the kinds of room shapes that we can have too, that doesn't really sit right with me, because that's going to mean in the first couple, well, I guess we're going to feel that anyway, but the train of thought is, in the first few months, we're going to have this like early access player housing, we're going to build stuff, we'll be able to get so far, but then once it really starts to open up, then the housing options will change, and that's going to be like, okay, do I want to do a teardown and start over, you know, do something new, expand on it, or what? So I think that's going to cause some like mental reactions from players that aren't going to be like 100% good, but I mean, that's just kind of how it goes with this being an early access sort of dealie. I have to wonder how often we can move between public and private neighborhoods. I guess the question I would ask is, why would you want to move so much? You know, if your neighborhood sucks and you want to just find one that's more active, that's one thing. But then switching between public and private, I'm wondering like what's the situation that would set that up? I never really thought of it. So, wasn't it a 45 room limit, or was it less? I'm not sure, because there's a screenshot where we saw like the room limits can expand via leveling, and that was, I think, at like level 7 of the housing track. So I'm not sure. Is there cookies here? No. I'm just looking for drakes. Yeah. You can save the house and then put it back up later. It sounds like, yeah. That was from a different stream that had, where I think they just answered someone's question. That, yeah, you'll be able to import export. I think one day we'll have a mount with a house on it for faster access. Like, I'm still saying, like, I really would like to have a, personally, I don't want a house. I'm cool with a teleport pad and or just like some magical thing that takes me into the house. A teleport pad would be brilliant, because it's like I can have, I can sort of roleplay like having my quote house on top of a mount, because it's a teleport pad, and then I get onto it and then I teleport into my house wherever that is. So the house isn't moving. It's just that, it's a teleport pad. So it's kind of cheating, but oh well. Okay, where do I go now? I got like this many. I gotta go down more. So this way. Whee. I wonder if you can have guild neighborhoods. Yeah, that's the whole idea. So I imagine guild neighborhoods being a thing at launch, because, or with early access, because why not? Well, I mean, maybe they won't allow private neighborhoods at the start or for early access, but that would be kind of a bummer, I think. I would like to have, I would like to be able to do neighborhoods, at least have a curated neighborhood at the start, because otherwise, when the official launch happens, then you're going to find like all these neighborhoods suddenly break up, and that just wouldn't feel great, right? Like on top of the portal room in Storm. Yeah, something like that. I'll crash type ports of your home. Yeah. So it would kind of give the illusion of like, oh, where is my home? I don't know. Where is it? But then I would have like this, all sorts of weird shit on my lot. Welcome to my outdoor base, or base of operations, or whatever. But my house is elsewhere. It's in space. It's in, some capsule somewhere, some shit like that. I mean the 1127 access. They're gonna need to have neighborhoods. No, I agree with that. I think they need to have that like set, because otherwise, like I said, when the official launch happens, then it's gonna be really awkward. And that's kind of why I want it to be on the PTR as well. That way I can save this build. Now, I do wonder too, like, someone mentioned it earlier. I think we were talking about this yesterday too. Like, if you copy someone's build and then you paste it, but you don't have everything that is part of that build, like you don't have those parts yet, what happens? Does it just not place? Does there like a placeholder for it where it can be? Like, how would that work? So, your whole guild is going in minute 1. Nice. We actually did decide on a name. It was one of my guild mates, Festies, made a good suggestion because my guild is called Prisoners of Warcraft, and the suggestion was, let's call our neighborhood the Yard. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. So far that's going to be the name of our neighborhood, the Yard. It'd be cool if it was 69 the Yard, which sounds really gross, but yeah, the Yard. Pretty sure I saw an interview that they said neighborhoods weren't going to be in early access. They just want players to get comfortable with the inside system. Yeah, but then where is your house going to be? Right? Unless, and this is plausible, right? This is plausible. Maybe early access will only include indoor decorations. And so it is going to just be like, hey, here's a portal. It'll take you inside. And the only thing you can do is interior decorating. And that's it. Because it's just not ready yet. Because, hey, early access. That's kind of the pitfall of it. That could be a thing. Kind of hope not. But if so, that would be the reason why they don't do actual neighborhoods yet. But the way I see it, I think of neighborhood features and I think of the leveling track and endeavors. And that I can totally see that not being a thing at the start, because that would be fucked up. That would be like super FOMO. If people can start accessing like things like endeavors and whatnot right away. Oh, I'm flying now? Oh shit. Ethereal reinforcements slain. So do I kill? I want to like laser dudes. So I'm flying. Of course I'm flying. Rawr. I got a tail swipe. I got a frontal. And then I got whatever that was. Okay, that's the frontal. Here's the beam, which is not hitting anyone. Oh no, I am hitting dudes. Okay, so frontal. Oh, how awkward. Can I do melee attacks? Basic. Okay, I can do a basic melee. But I'm also like sucking. Let's tail swipe these dudes. Nope. Okay, that dude doesn't get hit. Do I need to fly for that maybe? Unleashes Zorni's draconic breath, dealing massive arcane damage to enemies in a cone in front of her. That's a lie. You can join a neighborhood when 1127 was said by Ian. Okay. It's more likely the progress out of neighborhoods that's locked until midnight's release. Yeah. I know we asked a long time to change colors for Transmog and stuff and get it for home decoration, but I already want LEDs for the house. LEDs. Whoop. I got lost doing it, plus it was bugged and laggy for you the first time when you did it. Okay, so I'm also dying. Is there like a bring me back to? Dude, I just want to fight these guys myself. I only need to kill like 100 dudes, right? Yeah, can I just like go there and like camp them? Because Dragon's about to die. Yo, Dragon, what do I do? Yeah, what do I do? What if I'm like low on life? So swipe, damage, knockback. Oh, they're still acing me. Okay, can I do this in the air? No, can't do it in the air. We're learning. Okay, so that worked. Okay, now I'm like just fucking what? And then tail swipe, boom. Okay, so I'm still alive, still functional, but barely. And then just back this massive dump truck up and start tearing them up. Oh, so the tail swipe has a shorter cooldown. Ah, just fly away. It doesn't die? Oh, it doesn't die? Oh, really? Bring it on, enemies. Let's see. That might be like... Oinky might be like super trolling. Nope, not a troll. Hell yeah, dude, Godzilla status. Okay, cool. I'm just letting this. I'm letting the tail do all the work then. Hell yeah. Whoop. Do do do. And breathe. Arr. Defeat void color. Oh, okay. Sure thing. Oh shit, they're all coming. Oh no. Okay, defeat Void Rippa. Alright. At least I have my phase cutter thing. Other day, the dragon couldn't damage Nemesis packs. Oh, I didn't even think about Nemesis packs. Damn. How many did I kill? Oh, my UI is all jacked. Oh, there's so many mobs. Oh no. Okay, any orbs? No orbs. When will they release the panel VOD? It should have been like hours ago. So, unfortunately, bad holdup. Sucks. No phase cutting abilities here. Well, I'm gonna have one. Boop. Yeah, VOD or not, I'm gonna do my recap after lunch. So, or I'm gonna record and post a recap after lunch. It's just gonna suck putting out like crap, what I think are pretty crappy images. Unfortunately. How quickly do you think players are gonna hit void fatigue in midnight? Oh, I'm sure there's people who are pushing the narrative now. Oh my god, I am so tired of this purple ass zone. It's full of sand and it gets everywhere and blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's like daring someone to just get mad. Ooh, I shouldn't have hit that. Eating that breath. Okay. Don't do that. So where's the last dude? I actually don't know where the last dude is. Strange disturbance? Nope. Is it you? Void? Okay, there we go. Eversong's holy, Herondar is nature, Voidstorm is void, Zulman is dark nature, and thrones. So, like, the one thing that I didn't see mentioned, and it doesn't sound like it was like a very prominent thing during that panel, was this whole thing about uniting the elven tribes. And yeah, that didn't sound like it was a thing. So maybe that got changed ever since the announcement. So who knows? Kind of a bummer though. Alright, so don't get breathed. Don't get breathed. Oh, there's still one Nemesis pack left, but that's okay. So in Silvermoon, most of the city will be Horde, and Alliance will have a sanctuary. I'd like to just see it for myself. The way that it's being framed and the way people are playing telephone with that, they're talking like, oh, Alliance are just gonna be like stuck in like a closet, and then Horde have this glorious, you know, massive part of the city. And I want to see how it actually, you know, how it actually turns out. You work with Vol'jins, struggling to unite the Amani. Amani. Oh yeah, Senjin. Yeah, not Vol'jin. Say 25% Horde, 25%, 75%, 75%. I mean, the way I'm looking at that whole thing, it's like what I was saying before. Silvermoon has been a Horde city. It's not like there's this brand new city being introduced, and you know, now it's going to, you know, and it's going towards just the Horde and not the Alliance. It's been a Horde city. So, well. But no matter what, even if it was 50-50, people would be pissed. I think the only thing that, yeah, if it was 50-50, people would be pissed. If it was fully neutral, people would be pissed. So I think with that kind of logic, Blizzard was like, you know, we're just going to do what we want. People are going to get mad anyway, so might as well. As it should, it was supposed to be bigger than Storm and Orc combined. Nice. New interview. Sweet. Now this is the fuel I want, baby. Housing stuff. Alright. This thing's almost dead. Let me take care of it real quick and then... Oh, that's the main person. Oh, the main person's still alive. Ah, I didn't realize that they were... I thought that was just like some random ad. Alright, we'll look at this article together. Let me use Belmeth as a capital. I would like to see the other capitals become more established. You know, I want to see some passage of time sorts of updates, right? I want to see Gilneas be more fleshed out. I want to see Lordaeron be more fleshed out. That'd be cool. You know, maybe they'll reopen the actual Undercity as a spot. Maybe not. But yeah, I think they should. Yay! All right. Trebesha. Vol'jin has 9 kids? Damn! That dude fucks. Alright. Let's see if we get... Are there different delve trinkets up? Let's see. Looks like there is. Taking damage gives me lots of verse. Ew. Gross. Taking damage will give me the leech. Nah, that sucks. And oh, hold on. Release the Nethergate, flooding your location with corrupted mana, dealing damage every 1 second to enemies inside for 10 seconds, and heal for. Oh, it heals me for whatever per target up to 8 targets. Nah, that's kind of lame. 2-minute cooldown. That's way long. Hand the guards. Nope. Verse master, get out of here, man. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty. So, an article. Okay, I see something from a day ago. Is this new? Okay, so that, yeah, no, yeah, we've seen, yeah, I've seen this one.
About the exciting updates.
Was that abridged at all? IGN YouTube 7 minutes ago. Okay, so is this, I guess this is a different one. Here we go. Oh, it is different. Sweet.
I'm joined.
All right. We got content, buddies. It's not the lore panel, but it's better. Okay, so let me make sure our volume stuff is good. I'm gonna keep the volume high, so I'm gonna be purposefully low on the volume. Actually, no, I won't. I lied. Okay, there we go.
Hello and welcome to Gamescom Studio here on IGN. I'm joined on the stage by Ian Hazakostas and Holly Longdale. Thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about World of Warcraft's huge new expansion. It's Midnight. How are you feeling about Midnight?
Amazing. I mean, it's honestly coming off the excitement of the cinematic premiere last night at Opening Night Live. Holly's amazing outfit and the work of our cinematics team to follow.
We were talking about the outfit backstage. It was spectacular. I expect no less.
Thank you.
I also expect no less from a World of Warcraft cinematic, looking gorgeous, obviously. And Kel'Thuzad is just such a beautiful environment.
Yeah, we're so excited to go back to a place that holds so much nostalgia for players who may have played way back in the day in the Burning Crusade, who have an attachment to the Blood Elf race, and really tell a new story in that traditional setting.
I think for us too, it was really interesting to see the feedback from the community when they knew we were going to Kel'Thuzad, and that our Horde players were like, you cannot give our city over to everybody, and that the team planned around it. And so we have a Horde protected area so that they still get to keep their home as a protected space for themselves and some space of it at least. It will be a place where we all have to congregate in order to save the world.
Nice, and rightly so. And on the topic of that cinematic, could you set the stage for us just a little bit lore-wise? What's happening in Midnight?
So yeah, the darkness is coming to potentially engulf our world. And, we need to draw upon all the sources of strength and light that we have to defend it. This is the second chapter in the World Soul Saga. Over the course of the last year and a half, we have begun to grapple with the threat posed by this enigmatic foe, Xal'atath. Despite her beautiful, almost seductive appearance,
oh, Xal'atath.
She's actually exactly like an ancient, just eldritch power beyond comprehension. And the forces of the darkness are rising, and this is our time to make a stand against them.
All right, obviously very excited for the epic battle, but even more excited perhaps for player housing.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only one. It's been a while coming, right?
Yes.
How's the early reception been? I know you've got it here to play at Gamescom.
Honestly, the reception's been amazing, but I think aside from general interest is the team and our players at the same time, the feedback we get that's been embraced by our team in order to make the feature what it needs to be for the people who want to play it. And I think that's a journey we've been on for a while, and it's not just lip service. The feedback matters. It makes the game better, and it makes a game they want to play. So I think even while we're here at Gamescom, come and try the demo, and give us, we're here because we want the feedback, So there's this commitment around housing that this is just like the very
Was it
first
inconsistent?
tiny step into
sounded
a
like
multi-year
the same
journey
thing.
where we're going to keep listening and making what the players want, because they are what housing is, essentially. So reception-wise,
Yeah, it's really been amazing seeing people get their hands on something that we have been so hard at work on for so long. I think the team as a whole are huge fans of the MMO genre broadly. I think we've tried to study every version of housing that has existed in any game and offer the kind of the best of it all, as well as address potential concerns. We want to make sure this is a deeply social system and not something that is solitary. We want to make sure that this really supports almost boundless player self-expression, so you don't feel constrained by rules. And you know what? We will let you make horrifically ugly things if you want, but the reality is that's going to empower you to make incredibly beautiful things that we couldn't have come up with if we were trying to set too many guardrails.
Yeah.
Give me facts.
Did you take a little look at like Animal Crossing, maybe? Big fan of
All of
housing.
it.
All of it.
All of it.
All of the
Yeah.
kinds. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone, we're gamers too, so we have experiences of all kinds of different games with building and housing, and the team listened to all of it and made some choices.
Now, for the uninitiated, player housing, you're going to have an alliance zone and a horde zone, and within those zones you have neighborhoods of how many houses is it? It's like a plot with a bunch of houses.
Yeah, so yes, there's in the Alliance and Horde districts, which are entirely new spaces connected to Stormwind and Orgrimmar, respectively. There are neighborhoods of around 50 plots. There are public neighborhoods that anyone can join, or you can have a private neighborhood of a smaller social circle. There are also guild neighborhoods, which can scale to accommodate a guild of basically any size. And that way, you have your
rewind.
neighbors,
I don't know what you guys
as well
are
as your
talking
own
about.
personal customization
the
experience
whole
in your house.
Horde
There are
Alliance
also
thing.
visitors that come to the neighborhoods, a whole system of activities called endeavors, where community can work together to accomplish assorted goals, to unlock perks for their neighborhood, to further level up their houses. That's kind of like the touches on the social aspect that we felt was very, very important. While it can be a place to retreat to at times, we want to make sure that there are also many reasons to invite others into your home and to venture out and share this experience with others in your community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be a tricky balance, making it social, not antisocial, but also you kind of want somewhere cozy that's kind of just for you. And speaking of like the customization, like where are we going to get the stuff that we're going to put into our houses?
Come on,
Because I'm all
facts.
about this stuff.
Facts,
Almost
facts,
everywhere.
Yeah, from basically every facet of the game, from questing, crafting, vendors.
Yep.
It's going to span 20 years worth of content. There's a lot, for people who've been playing for a long time, they're going to log in for the first time with a lot of stuff already unlocked. Others will be able to explore and revisit all these settings to collect decor for their homes. I think one thing we want to make sure we're not doing is putting decor behind, content that is too hardcore.
Yeah.
There may be, distinct trophies or things that you can earn from being the best raider on your server or one of the best dungeon players in the game. But we're not gonna put a beautiful bookcase behind killing a raid boss.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about, that when it comes to expressing yourself.
Okay, I can have my beautiful bookcase, but if I want like a raid boss head for my wall,
Interesting way
I'm
to
gonna
put
do
that.
You gotta go kill the
Probably need
raid
to
boss.
beat the raid boss.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have like your own houses established? What does your house look like in player housing?
I'm waiting. Because I have to go do a bunch of collecting too, and I'm really interested now that we have lumber, all the things I can make through crafting. I love crafting.
Oh yeah.
So it's that, and I think what I'm really excited about is the ability to plan, right? So what kind of theme am I going to go for? There's so much flexibility. If I want the inside of my room to look like the inside of a ship, I can do that. And so there's a lot, that to me is the delight of this, is I can pick a theme and just try and chase it and look for the right pieces to be able to add to my house. So it's going to be a journey,
Yeah.
Excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, I just can't wait to see what the community does broadly when they get their hands on this. Within the team over the last few months, so many of us have taken our cracks at self-expression. Some of the artists on our team can do absolutely incredible things that blow my mind.
Yeah.
But that's just, a few dozen developers tinkering. Can't wait to see what hundreds of thousands, millions are going to do with their creativity.
100%. And for anyone who's uneasy, this is not player housing that like costs money for your house. You don't pay rent. You're not going to get kicked out if you don't stop by your house regularly.
Nope.
Your house is your house.
It's there.
All right.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
great. Great to hear that. Now, player housing isn't the only new feature that we're getting. I mean, it's probably the biggest, I think fair to say, the most exciting, biggest new feature. I'd like to talk about Prey. This looks really intriguing. We saw a teeny bit of it in the trailer. What can you tell us about Prey?
This is an awesome new content layer for players who love playing in the outdoor world as opposed to dungeons or raids. They like questing, they like exploring, and this is kind of an extra layer of activity to spice things up a little bit. So before you go out to quest or to adventure, you can check in Silvermoon and Murder Row and see what available contracts there are, what dangerous foes are out there that need to be hunted down. But of course, when you claim a contract, word's going to get out, and they're going to try to hunt you as well. And so, you'll have a series of conflicts with this adversary of your choice, as you adventure, culminating in a final showdown where hopefully you triumph and make progress towards getting both power rewards and a wide range of cosmetics.
All right, that's so neat. And is that in a set location, or are you kind of,
it's throughout the worlds of Midnight. So you're going to get these contracts in Silvermoon, but then regardless of whichever 4 zones you're going to, whether you're in Eversong Woods, down in Harrendar, or elsewhere, the hunt is on.
Okay, all right.
You walk out,
as we're running out of time, World of Warcraft, the Midnight expansion, is like the middle chapter of the World Soul saga. Like, is it like a storytelling challenge to do like the middle chapter, like the second part of a 3-part story?
I honestly don't believe so. I think what we've found is each one of these storylines exists solely on their own. So, even when we say second chapter of the World Soul Saga, I don't even think we need to say that, because Xal'atath is an epic villain. And so we are now going to be focused on Midnight, very much on all the terror she's bringing to our world. But I feel like past expansions, even before we got into the World Soul Saga, very similar vibes. Like, there's very much a localized and focal point on a threat. And so I feel like it just stands on its own. Yes, it's a second chapter, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
I think the World Soul Saga, it's, I think, the biggest story we've ever tried to tell in World of Warcraft, and it's exciting and energizing to tackle something with that level of ambition. At the same time, I think we're mindful coming into Midnight, we want to make sure this is super approachable for new players or players who are returning from a long time away. So we've overhauled our new player and returning player experience to get people up to speed, to play through a condensed version of the War Within kind of greatest hits, so that you're coming in and able to join the fight against Xal'atath alongside people who've been playing for the last 20 years, even if you're just picking it up for the first time.
All right, very exciting. Looking forward to that. Can't wait for player housing. Thank you so much, Ian.
Oh, they didn't give us really any facts on that. Bummer. Oh, well. Okay, actually, I wanted to look at what you guys were talking about earlier, though, about the whole shared space thing, because it just kind of like, for me, it was...
Thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about World of Warcraft's huge new expansion.
Sorry.
It's Midnight. How are you feeling about Midnight?
Amazing. It's honestly coming off the excitement of the cinematic premiere last night at Opening Night Live, Holly's amazing outfit, and the work of our cinematics team to follow.
We were talking about the outfit backstage. It was spectacular. I expect no less.
Thank you.
I also expect no less from a World of Warcraft cinematic, looking gorgeous, obviously. And Kel'Thuzad is just such a beautiful environment.
Yeah, we're so excited to go back to a place that holds so much nostalgia for players who may have played way back in the day in the Burning Crusade, who have an attachment to the Blood Elf race, and really tell a new story in that traditional setting.
I think for us too, it was really interesting to see the feedback from the community when they knew we were going to Kel'Thuzad, and that our Horde players were like, you cannot give our city over to everybody, and that the team planned around it. And so we have a Horde protected area. So that they still get to keep their home as a protected space for themselves, and some space of it at least. It will be a place where we all have to congregate in order to save the world.
No.
And then there's a small shared space for Horde and Alliance.
Nice, and rightly so. And on the topic of that cinematic...
Wait, that's it? That's where you guys are coming from? Damn. Y'all, some of y'all take small phrases and then just like, all right. I gotta make I gotta make a mountain out of this. Let's go, And so what I'm seeing, or the way I'm looking at this, is let's pretend, all right, let's pretend you have Silvermoon City, just bigger, and that is Horde stuff. And then somewhere in Silvermoon City is basically Dalaran. So a Dalaran-sized space where everyone is. I mean, that's... Back in the day, did people bitch about the size of Dalaran back in the day? I don't remember that much bitching about it. So, yeah. Right? Yeah, so that's how I'm looking at it. You know, think of a hub right now. Okay, I'm thinking of certain hubs. Like I guess the two best comparisons that I can, the two best examples I can come up with would be Dalaran, and like it or not, Oribos. So I think of like areas that are like that large, that are shared spaces, but then the Horde is still gonna have like a whole ass Silvermoon City. Something just dropped. Let's see. They came through. Fuck yeah. 23-minute panel? Let's go. Yes! The wait was worth it. All right. Here we go. Update. Rewind, probably. There. Oh wait, I'm listening to the whole thing. So hold up, I want to. Yeah, if we're getting that whole intro thing, okay, we're not.
Please join me in welcoming Ian Hazacostas and Marie Hamilton for the World of Midnight. Give it up!
Guten Tag und herzlich willkommen. Thank you, Gamescom. Thank you for coming out for this panel where we're going to talk about the World of Midnight, the story, the zones, the cultures, and the places that you'll go. I'm Ian Hazacostas, Game Director on WoW.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton, Associate Design Director on WoW. I'm super happy to be here.
So that music is really loud.
And so today we're going to talk about story, cultures, delves, dungeons, and raids. So let me just kick things off with a quick recap of the stories so far, what brought us here. So we began the World Soul Saga around a year ago and began telling the largest, most ambitious story we've ever tried to tell in World of Warcraft. It all began with whispers, visions that the champions of Azeroth were beginning to experience that ultimately led Thrall and Anduin, among others, to, a certain sword in a certain place. We investigated, we tracked those visions down, and ultimately they led us to the mysterious land of Khazalgar, where we deployed the floating city of Dalaran, and that didn't go so well. We were in fact ambushed by Xal'atath and her Nerubian allies, where Xal'atath wielded the Dark Heart artifact to drain the power of Dalaran, capturing Khadgar as well, and destroying the city. Over the course of our adventures, Xal'atath thwarted us several times, but Ilaria was able to ultimately perceive the power and the importance of the Dark Heart. She struck out at it, damaging it. This severely disrupted Xal'atath's plans, as well as freeing Khadgar. He was mortally wounded, but Anduin was able to step in and save him. But that disruption led Xal'atath to seek out the aid of one Gallywix. Now, the Dark Heart is this incredibly powerful artifact, originally
MacGuffin, Sir
crafted
MacGuffin.
by Neltharion with the aid of the goblins. So who better than some goblins to repair the damage? But she should have found some more trustworthy goblins. Because Gallywix, of course, had a plan of his own. And the Dark Heart ended up falling into the hands of Shadowguard Ethereals, who aimed to use it to bring back the Void Lord Demencius. A threat so great that it even forced Xalatath to set aside her goals and work with us for a time to stop his rise and the inevitable devouring of all worlds. Now, we have defeated Demencius, at least on story mode, Raid Finder, normal, and heroic. I think Echo is actually working on Mythic around 25 minutes from here right now. So is Method and Liquid. But would you believe that upon Demencius' defeat, Xalatath was not, as it turns out, on our side. And so she claimed the power of the Void Lord Demencius, ascended to become one of the most powerful beings the cosmos has ever known. And now, as we move into midnight, she is set to launch an assault that will plunge our world into darkness, that will extinguish all light unless we stand against it.
All right, well, let's start off talking about our heroes and our foes. So starting off, we've got Turalyon, Eretor, and Ilaria. We've been following Ilaria's journey for a bit here. We know about her feelings about Xalatath, and she was right all along. We also have Turalyon, her husband, who will be an important part of Midnight as a representative of the light. So at the very end of the cinematic there, when we see the light coming in response to Liadrin's prayer, the army of light has arrived, and so have the players. We also will be called by the light to come and join that battle. Eretor, of course, is their child. He also is a paladin, and he is very supportive and understanding of both of his parents. He's trying to understand the void influences that Ilaria is dealing with, as well as the strong call to light that his father has. So he's a little bit in the middle of the two. So they are very important to our story. And of course we have Xalatath. Couldn't go very far without Xalatath, our very cool villain. She seems to do whatever she needs to do to achieve whatever her goal is.
I kind of like the music.
She's now stated what her goal is. She's going to wipe us off the planet. She's going to take Azeroth.
Very
She's going
melodic.
to take all the power for herself and bring down Midnight. So looking forward to seeing what's happening with Xalatath. Wasn't really expecting the Army of the Light to show up there, as you could tell. She seemed a little surprised, but she's got plenty of forces and she's very powerful at this point. We also have Liadrin. She is she's the Blood Knight matriarch. She's obviously a very powerful paladin. She's the one who has called upon the light to come and save the day. And she is going to be very important to our efforts to push back the void. She does not have a strong liking for the Amani trolls, and that will become important. We have Orwena, who we met back in the War Within, the Heronir. We met a few of them, not a lot. And as you probably know, we'll be going and seeing more about their culture and their race. Orwena is going to have an opportunity to teach us about her people and what they care about, what their interests are, their culture. And she is one of the youngest of her race, actually. She is not an elder. There are elder Heronir, much more knowledgeable and wise. She follows the voice of her goddess, and that has taken her into places that we have been able to find her at last. We have Umbric and the Void Elves. This is an opportunity for the Void Elves to really come into their own, having been banished essentially from Silvermoon and their kin, essentially, because of the void taint that they feel that they have. Umbric is obviously trying to pull his people together, and he has a lot to contribute to our efforts to face off against the void. We have Zuljara and Zul'Jan, grandchildren of Zul'Jin. Zuljara is the chieftain of the Amani. Zul'Jan is her greatest advisor and brother. They are going to be giving us an opportunity to experience the Amani culture, not as enemies this time, but as sort of friends. They too are having slight void problems, and they need some assistance. Needless to say, the Blood Elves are uninspired by that request, as they aren't on best of terms. And then we have the Void and the Light, arguably the biggest conflict here between two forces. The Void we have been fighting against, the Light we have been fighting with. But extremes of either are problematic, as you might imagine. So there will be some issues between the two, and also issues between people that are Void-based, like Void Elves, and the Army of the Light Paladins, for example. So that's another important sort of contrast to watch during Midnight. And now let's look at the really pretty pictures, go into the culture and zones. So our first culture to talk about is Blood Elves. Those of you that don't play Horde may not know a lot about the Blood Elves. This is your opportunity to rectify that. They were High Elves before adopting the name Sindorai to represent and reflect upon the death of so many of their own. The Scourge, did a terrible number on their home area in Eversong and Ghostlands. And they have been recovering ever since. Their need for power, their need for energy and magical strength is well known. They are very, very tied to the Sunwell, which is, of course, exactly what Xal'atath is going after. Here's some pre-alpha footage for you that we just captured a couple weeks ago. I want to point out that there's not a lot of creatures spawned yet because, as I said, we're pre-alpha. But it's looking really good. It's exactly like what you might expect from Eversong. Eversong and Ghostlands have been combined into a single zone, Quel'Thalas. Because it's a relatively small zone. They were small zones back in Classic. And now with Skyriding, we want it to feel fun to move through them. But as you can see, it's the usual sorts of architecture that you would expect. The lofty, glistening towers, the amazing foliage and manicured gardens, and there are some things that have healed. The Dead Scar in particular has totally healed and is no longer there. Not all parts of the zone, however, have healed up. There are still some areas that look a little bit iffy, this being one of them.
It's more than iffy.
So yeah, essentially, it's the same place you're used to if you're a Blood Elf. If not, here's your opportunity to check it out.
So some
check
places,
out the zone.
it's alive, but still kind of abandoned.
Fun for us. Artists had a great time. Had the opportunity to make it just a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and increase the fidelity of the zone. Hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to move on now. And this is Silvermoon City. Yeah. It is enormous. I would say that because it's a hub city, there's a small section of Silvermoon that's been set aside as a sanctuary area where Horde and Alliance share that space. But the majority of the city is Horde, and Alliance is kill on sight, as you would expect. Essentially, our world building team had a wonderful time. It's all new assets. The city walls are all brand new, all to top fidelity. Everything has been remade. We've got places you'll recognize. You should feel real nostalgia if you've had any experience here. We have Murder's Row, which you're going to see a dungeon related to that as well. But overall, it's the same glorious, wonderful Silvermoon you love, but with much, much better, much more recent fidelity art. And once this stuff gets filled in with our spawning, it's going to look amazing. And yeah, there's a little void storm problem going on. And let's talk about the Amani, because they're the next culture we're going to want to talk about. They were previously enemies. If you happen to be around and played the raid in Zulaman, then you're familiar with the Amani and sort of their culture. We've had an opportunity to expand them because we created an entire zone for them now. They are very proud people. They worked very hard to get their land. They had some important work to do. The Zandalari basically said, well, you can have that land if you defeat this, giant, evil, horrible thing. And so they did that. And they were a great empire for a period of time, but they've fallen sort of into a lesser status now. They've sort of lost their touch with the Loa. They're not as close to them. Being right on the border and having a lot of conflict with the Blood Elves makes this a little tricky for them. They too are having some void problems. This
Who
is
isn't?
Silvermoon.
Gosh.
We've built the entire zone out. You will see the raid space. It still exists. Those of you that did that raid will recognize those buildings, I expect.
Okay.
This is a very old forest, very tall mountains. It's temperate. It rains a fair bit. It's got eagle, lynx, janalai. It's got dragonhawk, bear, Loa temples still, but the Amani haven't been really worshiping the Loa for a long time. A lot of stuff is overgrown and abandoned, and Zuljara is going to need to find a way to help her people survive the void onslaught that is coming for them. As you can see where the void has come in, it's not looking quite so good. And let's move on to the Heronir. So we met the Heronir early on in the War Within, but we weren't really sure what they were about. We didn't know their story, and we didn't know their connection really to the rest of the world. We'd never seen them before. They're ancient guardians of the Rootways, and they're led actually by a council of elders. They have a very direct connection with their goddess, and Orwena has a very strong direct connection, in fact, with the goddess, which led her to leave her people and go out into the outside world, something that they don't tend to do and they don't really look kindly upon. So, as you probably have heard, they are unlocked as an allied race. You'll be able to make your very own Heronir. We're going to have great customizations for them. They look pretty awesome.
I'm still weirded
I have to
out
say,
by
I've seen the
this
druid
one.
forms. We weren't able to show those yet. They are really awesome. One of them is a pangolin, which just looks amazing. They are prone to wearing this bioluminescent paint, and they have different kinds of patterns they can put on their faces and chests. So really cool looking, really awesome. Not really elves, not really trolls. Those of you that have kind of seen them previously, played in the War Within, know that they take a bat form when they want to travel. So that's the Heronir and their customizations. And this is the zone, Herondar. It is a fungal jungle place.
Fungal jungle!
It has all of the roots of the world trees all converge here, are twisted up in this area, this pocket area, which isn't really directly connected to anything. The people, the Heronir travel through the rootways themselves, so they're able to move around the world. One of the interesting things about this zone is it has a place called the Rift of Ulm, and from the Rift of Ulm will issue forth creatures that their goddess dreams. And sometimes they are horrific and horrible things. And some members of the Heronir take an oath, give up their connection to the goddess, and serve as wardens of that place, preventing those horrible creatures from attacking. They also have this place called the Den of Echoes, which we're looking at now. This is where the Heronir remember their past through paintings. And you will have an opportunity to learn some of those stories by interacting with those paintings. And let's talk a little bit about the Void, since we also have that as a culture. You can see people you recognize on one side and people you probably recognize less on the other side. Void creatures in general are very predatory. They are interested in eating anything smaller and weaker than themselves and taking that power. The Dominar, which are sort of the strongest, are a bit different. They are very, very intelligent, very smart. And the Dominar actually have a bit of a hierarchy that they've developed, again, through conquest, through beating on and dominating others. And you will deal with Dominar as one of the stronger representatives of the Void. Of course, Xalatath is part of this group. Cultists who follow Xalatath and follow the Void. We've already seen the Shadow Guard as well. There's even cute little ones, but they will try to eat you, so don't think that they're all that cute.
Void
and
mice.
This is Void Storm. This is a mysterious world that has been formed by the void. Everything here is hungry. Everything will eat you given opportunity. This is all about gaining power, becoming stronger, becoming more powerful, and eating the next thing. Essentially, we have a big raid here in Voidstorm. This is where we will face off against the Void with the Army of Light and attempt to make sense of what's going on here. But there are some gorgeous pictures. I would say the best blues and purples ever, probably, happening right here. But generally speaking, a really, really cool zone to explore. And you can be pretty sure that they're enemies, all of them.
Damn right.
All right, and I'm going to hand off to Ian for delves, dungeons, and raids. Thanks, all.
Good.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, all those amazing zones that you just saw, of course, are going to contain delves, dungeons, and raids. So really, delves are one of our proudest additions to War Within, and they are, of course, here to stay. And so you have 10 new delves coming with Midnight, scattered across these zones. I think we've learned a lot of lessons. We've taken feedback on what worked and what didn't. And so these are going to have all the same layers of variety and replayability that you knew in the War Within, but more layouts, more enemies that we found work better in this format, and less of those that don't. A couple of these delves are actually going to be outdoor spaces where you can use your ground mounts to get around more easily. And we're really happy to be able to integrate them into the stories of the zones, because now that they're such a proven format, we can really have quests lead you through them more regularly. Now, of course, in addition to these 10 delves, there is an 11th Nemesis delve, where you will track down the Nemesis that has been plaguing you over the course of the first season. And taking the place of Bran Bronzebeard will be a new companion, none other than our good friend Valera Sanguinar. Now, she will aid you in many of the same ways as Bran, and hopefully stand in fewer things that you'd prefer she not stand in. So, dungeons. We have 8 new dungeons coming in Midnight, 4 level up, 4 max level. And again, these we always try to showcase fun gameplay and innovative looks at the dungeon format. We'll be returning to Magister's Terrace, which has really been reimagined and expanded from last we saw it. We'll visit some new locations that weren't accessible before, including a balcony overlooking the Sunwell itself.
Subject to change.
When we go to Murder Row, a corner of Silvermoon, I think for Court of Stars fans back from Legion, there's some of those vibes here, as we're actually going in undercover to investigate rumors of the use of fell magic within the walls of Silvermoon. And before we know it, we're going to be plunged into combat, and the dungeon will unfold from there. Another favorite is the Void Scar Arena in the Voidstorm. Here, at the whims of one of the Dominar that Maria was just mentioning, combatants from around the universe come together to kind of battle to the death for the pleasure of the Dominar, and we're going to be thrown into that arena as part of this dungeon. And don't worry, especially in Mythic Plus, as waves come at you, you can control the pace of the waves.
So it is going to be.
Of course, we're going to have a mix of 4 of these dungeons, as well as 4 returning fan favorites in the first season of Midnight. But unlike in War Within, all 8 of these dungeons will be available in Mythic 0 during that pre-season period, right at launch. Another fun dungeon that we'll be venturing into is Windrunner Spire, where for those of you, particularly lore fans out there, we're going to get to learn more about the family history and the tragic background of the Windrunner family. This is a wing dungeon with plenty of mysteries to uncover.
It's funny how it was like empty before. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yo. Hey, bro.
Also,
what? Almost done. Fine. Because I downloaded it anyway. Motherfucker.
Also be the Dream Rift, a one-boss raid in Harinar. And then shortly after that, we'll be able to take the fight back to the Sunwell and the Gates of Silvermoon in the March on Keldanas. So really excited to have different environments, different settings, and really integrate the raids into the stories that we're telling more than ever before. Because with story mode, all players can experience these epic moments, and we can offer a wider range of environments for guilds to challenge themselves
Story mode
against.
for all the raids. Nice.
So that is a quick look at the world, the setting, and what's coming in Midnight. Thank you, Gamescom.
All right. First dev panel where they don't talk about how progression works while leveling. It's also the first dev panel that's only half an hour long. Like, I think we're used to seeing like 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. So, oh well. Yeah, that music was loud. So I'm guessing that part of why it took a while for them to get this out was because they had audio problems. Because that mic was picking up tons of background. I imagine they had to clean it up. And then for what they couldn't clean up, that's why the music was as loud as it was. But I think that was a bit too loud. Anyway, it didn't have to be like that, but oh well. Whatever the case, I did download a version of it. And I will do like a recap of what we've learned, which is very similar to what we kind of already know. But I'll be able to flesh it out like a little bit more. And I will want to talk a little bit about the whole... I will add some commentary on like the whole Horde and Alliance spacing and all that stuff. Because at least the thought in my head, Dalaran-sized hub, right? That's attached to Silvermoon City, which has always been for the Horde. That's it. That's how I'm looking at it. So, do you think they're being stingy with the info? No. I think this is like about the same amount of stuff that we had learned. Like, yeah. Now, that's me. That's a statement that I would say Saturday. Today, yes, they're being stingy with the info because, you know, it's just taken a long time for us to like learn everything. You know, if this was their con, we wouldn't let them get away with waiting a week to like find everything out. So, yeah. I just want to explore the city. I mean, roll a blood oath. I mean, that sounds very facetious of me to say, but that's kind of like how things are now. Like I was saying before, Silvermoon City has been a Horde city that's never changed. It's just that this thing that's being added is for everyone. So it's not like there's a new capital being added and Alliance aren't getting it. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that the Horde has always had. So, Shuna, it sounded like the intention had been to make both factions. That was the reunification of the Elves, but people like me thought no. Kind of like an embassy, but, you know, I'm just thinking of, like, scale-wise. If they make the shared hub as big and as, you know, if they made it just about as big as Dalaran, minus the layers, because, you know, there's, like, the sewer area, that seems okay. So, yeah. All right. So, thank you to Blizzard for getting this out right on time. So that way I did not lie in my stream title, because that would be like, you know, that would have been messed up. So we finally got that out. I'm going to go to lunch, and then I'm going to kind of go through this again with the footage. I'll publish this into like the recap of what we had learned, which was not too much. It was mostly like stuff like this, but then, you know, there's some commentary to be had about this and housing, and I'll do a quick sweep of like the websites and whatnot to see if there's anything else new that we had learned. Just mash it all into one thing and present it to folks. So I think that's going to be it for me. Let me see what else are people saying. Allied players want Silvermoon City neutral. No problem. Let's trade for reworked Ironforge to be neutral as well. Do we know if we're keeping Bran in Midnight, or is it going to be only Valyria? as far as it looks, it's only going to be Valera. Brand's going to hang up his hat. Valera's going to take his place, and like that's it. Favorite part of Dead Panel is how we're going to check on Fell Magic inside Silvermoon, and my original main was Blood of Lock. Feels a bit hypocritical. I want them to revamp Gilneas and make it another. I think that would be cool if they were to update Gilneas and Undercity to make them more full-ish capitals and stuff. So that'd be sweet. So anyway, I'm gonna head out. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys not tomorrow. There's no streams or whatnot that are planned for tomorrow. But there is going to be like a lot going on Saturday, so I will stream on Saturday. Hopefully, the VODs will be available sooner than later, because there's going to be a lot to cover there. There's going to be the systems panel, which we'll cover live, and then there's going to be the 2 fireside chats with Mr. GM and Talias and Nevitel. They're both going to be talking with developers, hopefully not overlapping all the same stuff. But then apart from stream on Saturday, you should expect a video from me on Sunday that will go over like everything that we've learned. It's all going to be mashed into one nice, neat little, hey, here's all the stuff. So off I go. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys for the next thing. And until then, stay